have 8 to 10.
Hey Carter, what do you feed the calves?
That's a good question, Bo. I'll show you. So first we take not a handful, but like a scoopful. We measure it, and once we measure it, we dump it in, and we put our water in, which is already in, and we take the drill and we just and we finish with the drill, and this is what we come out with.
Looks like milk.
Yeah, it's pretty much a colostrum.
How often do they get fed in a day?
We feed them twice a day.
Twice a day?
One in the morning, one in the night.
Okay, so if you wanted them to actually meet up with a milking cow, maybe their mom, would you bring the mom out there or would you bring the calf in?
We would bring the calf in and we would put them in a pen.
And does the calf only go to the mom that birthed the calf, or can it go to any?
I want to say it can go to any. It just depends on if the cow would take it. So when the cow has a calf, we bring them in from pasture and we bring the cow and calf in there, and I train the calf to suckle on a cow for like, I want to say 3 days. Mm-hmm. And then once that's over, we would move the cow over and we would start milking her in the robot, and we would bring the calves out in the calf hutches.
Okay, we're going to let Carter go back to his work, and we're going to now go to Cohen.
Cohen, what is your main role on the farm?
It's a good question. We don't really, us as a family, we don't really have roles. We all, every week we switch jobs. So we sort of do everything. I'm going to be collecting cows and putting them in the robot so they can get milked.
So there must be some software that this farm uses that tells you whose turn it is to get milked. Correct?
Yeah. So this is the software for the farm. We use it to tell whether a cow is in heat, if they're gonna have a baby soon, or if they're sick. Mainly we use it for collecting cows. Sometimes they have failures, so it didn't connect properly, or they didn't give enough milk.
When you say something failure didn't connect, are you talking about the actual apparatus that goes on the cow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a laser and it tries to connect, and sometimes it just can't do it, so we have to help it.
So
and then,
let me see if I've got this. So the animal goes into the milking booth.
Yes.
And you watch it here?
No, it sort of keeps track all day.
Oh, okay.
And so we usually do chores at the morning and in the night.
Okay.
And so in the morning, if all the cows in the night, let's say they were sleeping and they didn't go into the robot, in the morning we'll look for them, mm-hmm. and then we'll put them in the robot and help them and just get their milk.
So does it also tell you how much you've collected?
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's excellent.
Right. Let's go, girl.
Do the cows get milked every day?
Yeah, the cows get milked every day, mainly every 6 to 4 hours a day. But sometimes the cow, like 37 right here waiting, is a little lazy, or they're a little tired, or it's too hot. And so I'd have to guide her to the robot, and now she's waiting for her turn to get milked. So it's gonna rinse her teats. It's gonna rinse and make sure all the dirt is off, and then it's going to connect and milk her.
And we're back. I hope you enjoyed that. We enjoyed being on that farm because it gave us that faith in kid power. Kids can do anything. And this entire menu today is based on allowing kids to have a little bit of freedom in the kitchen. So this is simple. My grandson likes chocolate pudding. Today we're going to stay away from the chocolate and we're going to make a basic vanilla pudding that you can add your own flavorings to. We have 4 cups of milk and about a half cup of sugar. The milk is just starting to scald. Be careful when you're making a pudding that it doesn't scald to the bottom of your pan. I have 1/3 cup of cornstarch, so that's 4 cups of milk, half a cup of sugar, and a 1/3 cup of cornstarch. That's going to start to thicken. This is where I'm going to change over to a whisk. And maybe turn my heat down and just start whisking. And what I'm looking for is that nice viscosity of a pudding. It's going to start thickening, getting a little bit glossy, and this is where you don't leave it. Okay, I see it starting to thicken up, and this is where I'm going to add in my flavoring. I'm going to add in something that maybe isn't familiar to all of you. We're going to be using rose water. Now, this beckons to a Middle Eastern dish called mahalabia, and it is a delicious pudding, but it would be made with rice flour and not cornstarch. That's the only difference. So you're going to add in, I would say, about 2 teaspoons of rose water. It's very gentle. It's not overpowering. Try it. If you don't like it, you can leave it out. You can also add in about a teaspoon of vanilla. This is a vanilla bean paste. You'll see it's coming out quite thick. I use this because I like the depth of flavor I get from it. Okay, we're going to remove this from the heat. You can see that it has thickened to a nice pudding consistency. We're going to let the bubbles settle down. Now we're going to put these into glass dishes. You could put it into one bowl. Now this is where you could also, while you're cooking it, and be patient because it took a little bit of time to thicken, this is where you could add a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of cocoa. You could add any kind of flavoring that suits your family. So, my grandmother used to even fold in a little bit of coconut, something that suits the meal. And there you have it. This was not difficult to make. You pre-assemble a few things for a young person, a young cook in your family, they can make this. This entire meal could be made by a child. I'd like to thank the Reglé family for the tour that they took us on. Most importantly, the 5 kids who showed us that they could keep that livestock healthy, they could keep that farm going. They are the next generation. Bye.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com. With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV. This is Rogers TV.
Steel, go! Go, Steel, go!
Go, Gens, go!
Go, Gens!
A sold-out crowd expected here tonight in Oshawa as the hometown Generals look to close out their series against the Brampton Steelheads. Welcome inside the Tribute Community Center for Game 5. The Generals leading the series 3-1. This is the OHL playoffs on Rogers TV. Good evening, everyone. I'm Adam Dunphy. Well, Beckett Seneca was the offensive star for the Generals in their 4-1 Game 4 victory as he scored twice to pace the offense. He will not be in the lineup tonight, though, as after scoring his second goal last night, he crashed hard into the end boards. He left the game but did return, but he will not dress tonight. He is day-to-day with an upper body injury. The Generals, though, will get no sympathy from the Steelheads, as tonight they will be without forward Angus McDonnell and defenseman Spencer Sova. This is the third time that the Steelheads and Generals have met in the postseason, and in the prior two series, neither went beyond 5 games. For more on this one, let's go up to the booth and join Mike Luck and Shane Hollinshead.
Thank you very much, Adam. Well, the scene has set perfectly, Shane. And when you look at the Eastern Conference bracket here in the playoffs, there has already been an elimination with the Sudbury Wolves out. The Brampton Steelheads trying to avoid that fate tonight.
This is the only game in the Eastern Conference here tonight with the Oshawa Generals, an opportunity on home ice to move to round number 2. You're right, Mike. Kingston swept the Sudbury Wolves last night. Brantford and Barrie have a chance to wrap up their series tomorrow, and out west tonight, Kitchener and Windsor look to punch their tickets to round number 2.
Certainly the Sudbury Wolves, a team that did some loading up, made big moves to get Henry Muse. The Brampton Steelheads made a couple of big moves at the trade deadline too. One of them, Connor Smith. We'll see how they fare tonight against the Gens. And a Gens lineup that has been pretty deep and really seeing the emergence of Owen Griffin.
Owen Griffin has been fantastic for the Oshawa Generals down the stretch in the regular season and early here in the playoffs. 6 points in the 2 games in Brampton on the road, including a hat trick in game number 3. The evolution of Owen Griffin adds yet another weapon to a deep offensive attack for the Generals. 13 points in the final 10 regular season game and has 8 points through 4 games here so far in the playoffs. He has established himself as a legitimate top 6 center on a loaded up championship contender. He has earned his way with the Oshawa Generals.
Back-to-back games, back-to-back nights means not a lot of rest and no time to recover. Both teams are suffering from that. No Angus McDonnell for the Steelheads and no Spencer Sova on the back end either. For the Oshawa Generals, the big news at the rink today, Beckett Seneca out. We're told day-to-day upper body injury precautionary. Here's the scenario.
Yeah, Beckett Seneca crashing into the end wall after scoring a goal in Brampton last night. This is a big loss for the Oshawa Generals. 4 goals in 4 games in this series. Multi-point efforts in 3 of 4 as well, and is a big weapon on the power play. 5 power play goals for the Gens this playoff. He's been involved in 4 of them.
So if the Steelheads, switching gears, want to get back into this series, they're going to need depth, and one of the big pieces looking for it, a guy moving up onto the top line, and Mason Zabeski.
Mason Zabeski has been a revelation in this playoff series, has taken his game to a whole new level, and has gotten involved with Gen's goaltender Jacob Oster as well. Coming into this series, the expectation was there of physicality, but maybe what wasn't expected was Jacob Oster being involved. Mason Zabeski in the forefront in a couple of collisions. But when you talk about what Zabeski has brought to this playoff series, a career-high 35 points, had 1 point in 11 career playoff games, but this year, 5 points in 4 games, and a physical force. The former Oakville Junior Ranger running mate of Cal Ritchie has been fantastic for these Steelheads.
Speaking of Callum Ritchie, he has been in a shutdown role. It's been a tough one, though. He's got to face Carson Rakoff and Porter Martone.
The depth scoring has not been there for the Brampton Steelheads in this playoff series, and when you remove Angus McDonnell, you remove another piece as well. 7 of the 13 goals for the Steelheads in this series comes from these 2 players. 3 more from McDonnell being out of the lineup. The big guns need to come to play tonight in an elimination game. When you consider Rakoff and Martone and McDonnell out of the lineup, only 3 other singular goal scorers in this series: Zabeski, Sherratt, and Misa from the Steelheads. If they're not going to get production from their bottom 6 or from their depth, their top players need to continue to be their top players, and these 2 are the biggest of them all.
We mentioned Jacob Oster and him having to contend with the Steelheads getting into his crease and getting into his head. This series is obviously, like anyone, come down to goaltending, and Jack Ivankovic is responsible for really the one Steelheads win in this series. He was stellar in Game 2, facing 50 shots, but he will be the story when this thing is written, be it good or bad for the Steelheads. Jack Ivankovic needs to be better tonight.
Yeah, he most definitely does. In an elimination game, you need your goaltender to play his best game, and you talk about Ivankovic's last time in this building, stopped 46 of 47 shots, but his 5.09 goals against average in the playoffs is second highest across the Ontario Hockey League. That's just not good enough for the Steelheads to be able to win 3 straight in this series, as they're going to need to do, and come back and beat the Gens in 7.
It's another packed building in Oshawa. The Gens celebrating some history, too, as the puck drop. Former Gens, Derek Dolson, Sean Stefanski, Matt Neely, Drew Bucktooth out there now. Will send it down to ice level, and rink announcer Terry Johnston.
Please welcome back number 12, Drew Bucktooth. He played 1 season for the Generals in 1997. Please welcome back to Oshawa, number 22, Ben Brown. He played on the Generals from 1998 to 2001. Please welcome back number 6, Mike Rosenstrom. This General spent 4 seasons with the Generals, played 219 games in his time as a General. He was part of the 1996-1997 OHL Championship team. Please welcome to the ice, number 10, Brandon Coulter. Let's hear it for your former Oshawa Generals. Could we please have Porter Martone? Martone, captain of the Brampton Steelheads, and Ben Danford, captain of your Generals, to center ice for our ceremonial puck drop. Thank you all to all the Oshawa Generals alumni for joining us tonight. And don't forget, once a General, always a General. Ontario Power Generation is the proud sponsor of the Oshawa Generals anthem. We ask that you please rise if you're able, remove your helmets and toques, and show that Canadian pride as you join the singing of the Canadian National Anthem as we're led by Amy Windsor.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far
Time to meet the goaltenders, and they have been center stage in this series. Jack Ivankovic was pulled for just 36 minutes of it, but the record is not where he wants to be. He wanted 3 of 5.09 goals against average, .874 save percent.
Yeah, lots of rumblings. Would James Richmond turn to Braden Gillespie, who was so good in relief in game number 1? But no, the coach and general manager sticks with Ivankovic right through here to game number 5. An important start here tonight for Ivankovic.
And in the Gens end, the man who's played every minute of these playoffs, Jacob Oster.
Stopped 32 of 33 shots last night in Brampton in the 4-1 win. This the third game in 4 nights between these two teams.
This first period is brought to you by Downtown Whitby as they get set to go. Mason Zabeski moves onto the top line with Luke Misa and Porter Martone. The Generals will counter with Callum Ritchie, Luke Torrance, and Noah Powell.
There's a look at Noah Powell. Just 1 assist through the 4 games so far in this playoff series. He is a physical force, has a great first step and speed to burn. See if he can make an impact here tonight alongside Cal Ritchie.
Also been great when he's been pressed into the faceoff dot. 64% leads the series in that category. We're underway in Oshawa with the first elimination game of this series. The Gens a 3-1 series lead. Broken stick right off the opening face-off, and they'll collect the pieces and get it back to the Brampton bench. But an icing call against the Gens will send the face-off down into their end.
A very strong road pair of games for the Oshawa Generals, picking up victories in both games, 3 and 4. Generals looking to carry that momentum back here tonight onto home ice and wrap up this series. Everyone knows how dangerous this Steelheads team can be. The Generals have a bit of a stranglehold on this series. They don't want to let it slip.
Luca Morelli, the Columbus Blue Jackets prospect, left it behind his net, but it's stolen. Centering pass for Martone, broken up by Powell. He'll get out to center. Connor Smith will play it further into the neutral zone before Powell will dump it in. And Smith, the Ducks prospect, will go back for it. Here is Zabeski. Send it in, Oster out to play it. Rims it around the boards himself. Steelheads are changing their D, allows Matt Buckley to move ahead. Buckley moves up in the lineup to fill the spot vacated by Beckett Seneca. Again, you missed it off the top. Seneca out, considered day-to-day with an upper body injury after crashing into the boards after scoring last night in Brampton.
Yeah, and Buckley's a player that's moved up and down the lineup, literally has played alongside Cal Ritchie on the right side. Last night was listed as a 4th-line right winger, and tonight moves back up into the top 6 with Seneca's absence.
Follow the bouncing puck as it was ring off the boards and high. Owen Griffin out searching for it. It's Carson Rakoff, the Seattle second rounder. Sends it ahead to Eden Lane. He'll dump it in wide of the Oshawa goal. Back for it is Gibson. The boards, Lane will cut that off. Takes a bump from Harrison Franson. The two cage wearers. Lane because of age, Franson because he took a puck to the teeth in practice this week.
Yeah, it must be playoffs. We've seen plenty of cages, plenty of bubbles. Angus McDonnell took his off last night, but is not in the lineup. Luke Misa continues to wear his, and you're right, Mike, Harrison Franson taking a puck while suspended in practice.
Lane takes a bump again from Franson. Puck out at center, bounding around. Set up by Reed Gee, dumped in as the Steelheads start a change. Gibson, the Nashville Predators prospect, coming across the trade deadline from the Sioux. Both these teams making big defensive acquisitions. Connor Smith from Owen Sound for the Steelheads, and Gibson from the Sioux for the Gens.
Yeah, those were the two most sought after D at the trade deadline in the OHL as well.
Here's Witkowski. Backhanded across, looking for Rakoff. He follows Danford into the end boards. And Rakoff buying some time for his mates to change. Dragusica, who draws into the lineup with Spencer Sova out for the Steelheads. Couldn't keep the puck in. Martin gets it ahead. And McGregor Richmond, who missed the last game, a healthy scratch, back into the lineup. Figliameni's stick lifted. The Gens get their 4th line out. Here's Anthony Figliameni. Sharp angle shot. Forced a blocker save from Ivankovic. It's the first shot by the Gens.
Yeah, not a bad attempt from such a sharp angle. Ivankovic had to make a sharp blocker save.
There's Porter Martone. Send the puck around the Oshawa zone. Sandu behind his net, having to deal with the forecheck of Richmond, and now Martone has him wrapped up. Ritchie will come in, sweep the puck away to Powell. Powell sends it across for Luca D'Amato, who jumps into the rush. Here's Ritchie. Drops for D'Amato. He curls back to the blue line and sends it around the zone. Ritchie behind the net will pick it up along the boards. Didn't quite handle it great, and then took down his man Zidlicki. Steelheads want a call, don't get it. Torrance trying to pass that off out of the slot to Ritchie. Comes to the point to D'Amato. Around the boards, Powell protects for Torrance. Couldn't get a shot away. Might have had Ivan Kovic slipping off the post. Now a shot by Powell. Loose puck in front as the Generals crash the blue paint, but the whistle goes before Ivan Kovic can get the glove down on it.
Yeah, we've seen some rebound control troubles from Jack Ivan Kovic throughout this series. This time he gets bailed out by the whistle of the referee. Not sure that puck would have found its way to a jersey in red, but still the ability to get that whistle blown helps the Brampton Steelheads. And a solid shift from Cal Ritchie, Luke Torrance, and Noah Powell as they head to the bench.
Griffin, Barlow, Buckley step right back out. This line has been oh so important with Seneca on it. Seneca, Barlow, and Griffin all with 4 goals in this series each. 12 goals as a line, outscoring the entire Steelheads roster. Ivan Kovic out to play it, takes his time, finds Carmiris, back it up behind his net for Von Richter. It's Connor Smith. Carmiris from his own side of center, but he had a man streaking in. Sherrod who gets a shot away, save made by Oster. Design play on the stretch. And Sherrod will turn it right back into the Oshawa zone. Gibson stepped in front of him. Giveaway finds Connor Smith. He shot it wide. And Sherrod has his man Gibson pinned, and there's yet to let each other go. Sherrod's lost his helmet. He has to get off as a scramble in front. Carmiris with a backhand opportunity. Sherrod finally does make his way to the bench after losing the bucket in the exchange with Gibson.
Yeah, talk about letting it go. It was a good 10 seconds or so. The duo was tied up along the wall, expected a whistle to take one, maybe both. No whistle came, and a quality scoring chance would develop for the Steelheads as well. Jacob Oster has to make his first big save of the night.
Refereeing has been a story in this series, but it's been mediocre on both sides, both teams with complaints. The Steelheads have had 17 power plays in the series to the Generals 16. In the end, pretty even. The major differences has been as to where these are. Generals 9 power plays at home. The Steelheads only 5 in this building. Jakub Fibiger for Witkowski, and he finds Van Volsen. The Brooklyn native will play it around for Lane. He gets knocked down by Sinavori. Radowski trying to get it free. Reed Gee steps up. Here's a possible 2-on-1 for the Gens. Sinavori has D'Amato breaking to the net. Shot off of Ivan Kovic and into the corner. Lane along the boards, tied up with Sinavori. He ran into the goaltender, and a penalty coming to the Gens.
Way late. That arm was down for so long. Then the Steelhead went to engage in Sinavori, and the arm goes in the air. That was a long time ticking by.
Didn't go up until, you're right, the Steelheads came over to chat with Sinavori. And this is not going to make the Generals happy, because they think that there have been a couple of instances where the Steelheads have gone after Jacob Oster in his crease, but interference is the call against Laurie Sinavori.
I don't disagree with the call. Sinavori goes through the crease and knocks over Jack Ivan Kovic. Just surprised at how many seconds tick by before the arm goes in the air. The Steelheads will head to the first power play of the game, and it's been a dangerous power play for certain. 6 for 17.
And you're right, it's right in the blue ice. Ivan Kovic has that space. Sinavori can't go in there. It was just a delayed call, or delayed reaction to the call. The referee Jason Feist. And veteran Pat Myers, the orange armbands tonight. The power play goes to work, 6 for 17, 35% in the series are the Steelheads.
Rakoff has 3 of them.
Here's Martone. Rakoff's on the other side. Oh, to the point goes Misa. He finds Finn Harding. Martone, Rakoff waiting for it, scores Martone! Similar to last night, same spot on the ice, but a bullet over the other shoulder, blocker side high. The power play opens the scoring.
That's 7 power play goals in the series for the Brampton Steelheads. Porter Martone has been a part of 6 of them. Leads the Ontario Hockey League very early in this playoff series in power play points, and you see why with a shot like that. An absolute beautiful shot over the right arm of Jacob Oster. Hesitation. Everyone's expecting the cross-ice pass, but Martone keeps, holds, and shoots. Beats Oster up and over the shoulder for the early goal almost 6 minutes into this game.
So special teams plays a factor early. 5 minutes and 56 seconds in. Connor Smith plays it across. On Richter ahead. Teams pinball it at center. Now Morelli steps up. Has to lift it over Connor Smith. Not an easy task at 6'6", 217, but this is an icing call now against the Steelheads. Brings us to the TV timeout. It's a power play goal from Porter Martone, gives the Steelheads a 1-0 lead in the first period. You're watching Oshawa Generals playoff hockey on Rogers TV.
Do you like movies? You do? What a coincidence, because I host a show called Cinema Scene, which features movie reviews and interviews. It's the big screen on the small screen with Cinema Scene.
Hey Durham region, prepare to vote. During the election campaign, watch Rogers TV to learn more about the local candidates running to be your MP. And on April 28th, make it count and vote. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
Hello, I'm Judy Tate, host and producer of At the Heart of Business. Join me each week as we speak with women in business about their challenges and their successes. At the Heart of Business, right here on Rogers TV Durham.
Porter Martone, the opening goal. His fourth of the playoffs.
Well, that continues the stretch of goals for Martone and Rakoff. 8 of 14 this series now from those 2 players alone. Big guns coming to play.
Generals trying to keep the puck in the offensive zone. It'll be skated out though by Lucas Karmiris for Zidlicki. Looking back for Karmiris. The return feed didn't work and kept in at the blue line by Connor Smith. There's Morelli. Puck got by Barlow, but the pinching defenseman in Von Richter negates the icing. So Smith will go back for it. Both coaches imploring their teams to start early in this game, and certainly it's the Steelheads with the power play goal that get the earlier start. Stanford looks ahead and finds Griffin. He had Connor Smith bearing down on him. Sinavori slashes at a puck. Sherratt, though, will dump it in to the Oshawa end. Oster out to play it behind his net, leaves it there for Sandu. McGregor Richmond quickly onto him. Sandu will skate it away. Zach Sandu to dump it in. Jakub Fibiger back for it. He finds Witkowski, and Richmond through center. Oster out to play it again up the boards. Sinavori chops at it, doesn't get it out, kept in with the skate of Draguzika. Andrew Gibson now trying to protect the puck away from Lane and Witkowski, who comes up with it. At the point, Draguzika will just send it back behind the net again. Lane couldn't get his stick free. Fibiger pinches on the near side. Lane trying to walk out front, dragged down by Gibson. Draguzika will step in on the far side. Good pressure from the Steelheads, keeping the Gens pinned momentarily. Now a chance to get out. Sinavori has Franson with him. Sinavori to Franson, couldn't get the tip on goal. Another shot by Rogowski goes wide. Sinavori along the boards. Martone off the bench gives him a ride into the wall, and away comes Witkowski up the middle for Misa. Luke Misa looking for a puck in the General's zone. Bodied by Morelli, but sends it around, and Martone will be the first on it on the far side. Chips it down low. Morelli will get to it, couldn't get it by Misa. Zabeski lost the puck to Ritchie, who couldn't get it over Martone. Now they do get it out. Bouncing puck at center, though. Ritchie unable to corral it. Danford couldn't get it by Zabeski. Zabeski has a man to the net. Zabeski has shot. He was looking for the same spot that Martone hit earlier and went over top of the goal. Pressure again by the Steelheads. Throw it out front, kicked ahead by Morelli. Martone will keep it in. Ritchie quickly onto him. In the corner is Misa. Around the Oshawa end, Torrance will get to it first. And he'll go back with it to Morelli. He'll send it up the boards to Ritchie. Leskovar cut that off, then gave it away to Ritchie. Callum Ritchie through the legs. Ritchie in front, Powell dragged down. And he went into Ivan Kovic, who's hurt on the play. And I'm not sure if Ivan Kovic took the skate of Powell or his defender into the mask, but Jack Ivan Kovic drops the helmet right away. The trainers will get out to the goaltender quickly. What a play by Callum Ritchie to feed Noah Powell. And if it wasn't for the hook of Stevie Leskovar, it was a tie game.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happens here to, oh, and it is a skate coming through the mask area. My goodness. Ivan Kovic's getting tended to by the trainer. Don't see any blood, which is a great first sign, but the impact as well is something to be concerned about, although there may be a nick here as the trainer has the towel up into Ivan Kovic's underneath his ear area. Braden Gillespie does have his mask on the bench, getting set and getting ready to come in. Ivan Kovic will have to leave the game, and Gillespie's going to have to come in cold and face an Oshawa Generals power play.
A very tough situation for the Steelheads. You're right, Shane. It'll be a power play for Oshawa. I'm not sure if this happened just under the ear, where you can see where there's a little bit of that neck exposed under the goaltender masks.
Well, that's a scary situation. Thank goodness that's all it is, as hopefully Ivan Kovic can return, go get some repairs, get looked at by the trainer. We'll take another look at this play. The Ritchie dangle is unbelievable, of course. And then the presence of mind to try to pass back door to Powell. And as Powell goes to the back end, he gets taken down, and his right skate coming through as Ivan Kovic sprawling out trying to make the save. Ends up clipping Ivan Kovic.
So very dangerous, those skates razor sharp. Gens get the man advantage. Gibson stick tied up from Zabeski. He gives him a punch. Play continues on as D'Amato keeps it into the point. Down low to Torrance. Gens start with power play unit number 2. Torrance back to the point, D'Amato across. Gibson one-timer. Rises up high. D'Amato again to Gibson. Able to trap the puck, keep it into the zone. Looks down low to Powell. Back at the point is Gibson. Remember, cold goaltender in Gillespie. Sinavori along the boards. Back to the point. Gibson one-timer. Gillespie blocker save. Steered it wide. Gillespie did come in game 1 in relief of Jack Ivan Kovic, but it was fantastic in that effort as that puck just ripped wide by D'Amato. Torrance will play it back to the point. Approaching the halfway mark of the power play. Sinavori for Torrance. Torrance, Laurie Sinavori, cross for Gibson. Had to take it skate to stick. He finds D'Amato. Gibson, fanned on the one-timer. Zabeski will rip it around the zone. He hit his own man, though, in Connor Smith, and that will keep the puck in. Sinavori down for Torrance. Back for D'Amato. Gibson again, one-timer, puck loose in the slot, lifted high, will drop on the stick of D'Amato. Gens can't get their top power play unit on, but they score anyway! A laser from Andrew Gibson ties the game at 1. Both teams with a power play goal.
Second unit starts for the Oshawa Generals, and they're in the offensive zone for 1:20, whipping this puck around, getting chances towards goal, and it's finally Andrew Gibson who hammers a puck high, glove side. A clearing attempt that could have easily went all the way out and down the ice is kept in only by the fact that it hits a Brampton Steelheads player. Friendly fire on the rim around gives the Generals a second chance in the offensive zone. Andrew Gibson makes the most of it. His first goal and his first point in this series. Each team with a power play goal to get this game started.
Picked a great time to introduce himself to this playoff series, Andrew Gibson. Well, he's been fantastic in a defensive role, of course. This puck sent in to the Steelheads end. Still no sign of Jack Ivan Kovic on the Brampton bench. Simon Wang turns, looks ahead, finds Rogowski. He'll send it back to Wang, who'll take his time, and now rip a pass through center. Franson lifts a stick, Rogowski goes to the net, Franson falls, stones it on goal anyway. Gillespie the save. Franson falls again, Lane falls over top of him. And with some time, Van Volsen sends it across for Finn Harding. Here's Carson Rakoff. His pass ahead. Eluded Barlow. Martone to chase down Danford, frees the puck. Misa couldn't center it, now he does, but Morelli will skate away with it. And Colby Barlow will send it in. The Winnipeg first rounder chases after his own dump in. Steelheads will get it ahead. Misa put it a bit too far for himself. Danford got a stick on it. Following up, here's Martone for Misa. Down low, Rakoff. Rakoff walks out front. Martone on the far side, trying to chip that puck on goal. The Gens come up with it. And Barlow slashes it off the skate of Buckley and out to center. Sent right back in by the Steelheads. And Danford will corral. Here's Callum Ritchie. Banks ahead, a little too far for Powell. Fibiger steps in front of that, sends it right back in the Oshawa end. Here's Callum Ritchie. Hopped over the stick of Torrance. Gens in the midst of a change. And just getting their personnel off in time as Gibson touch it. Here's Ritchie, 3-on-1. Here's D'Amato, and it just rolled under his stick. Down for Torrance, he'll play it down behind the net. Ritchie will get to it first, protects from Fibiger. Ritchie finds D'Amato in the slot. His shot blocked in front. Zabeski gets it by D'Amato, pokes it ahead for Karmiris. And he'll gain the Oshawa zone to Sherratt, fed it through, rebound came out. Off the pad of Oster, Gens unable to clear. Sherratt sends it to an open corner. Behind the net, Zabeski finds Karmiris. Shot blocked by Gibson. And Karmiris banking it to the point. No defender was there, though, and forced back is Von Richter. Generals scramble to the bench for a change, as do the Steelheads. It's ripped back into the Oshawa end. Here's Luca Morelli. Finds Harrison Franson. He'll feed it to Rogowski and into the Brampton zone. Brooks Rogowski, a shot blocked. Following up, Franson at the point, Wang across for Morelli. Brampton doing a pretty good job of keeping the Generals to the outside and keeping shots away from Braden Gillespie. Only faced the goal. Or two, sorry.
Tough situation for him to come into a power play cold. Ivan Kovic still not on the bench, by the way, but Braden Gillespie did come into game one in relief of Jack Ivan Kovic. Was very good, stopping 21 of 22 shots. It was a loss for the Steelheads in game number one. Now thrust back into action unexpectedly early in this game.
Looks like the trainer has come back to the bench, so likely a doctor stitching up situation. As puck set down the ice, icing waved off. Morelli back for it. Up the boards for Buckley. Kept it to the point by Harding. Towards the goal, tipped wide by Rakoff. Sandu onto it. And the Generals, Buckley looks rink wide. He finds Barlow in stride. Colby Barlow trying to step around the outside of Leskovar, who does a good job of tying up Barlow. They meet, and I think Barlow's going to take the penalty here. And he's got some words for the referee as Harding continues on the other way. He'll take a big shot from Buckley. And Matthew Buckley looked to have taken the worst of that.
Late hit on Griffin touching the puck. Clearly a delayed penalty call.
The referee, Mason Face, has the call, and it, check that, Pat Myers, it's a cross-checking penalty to Colby Barlow. So
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to RogersTV.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at RogersTV.com.
My OHL is where every player feels safe and respected. Well, I truly believe that the OHL has been on the forefront of empowering our players to have a voice. The off-ice development, I think, is as important, if not more important, to the players' success. They're part of the community. There's a responsibility to treat people with respect. All teams, I think, have felt a great sense of responsibility in that regard to make sure the message has been clear.
Porter Martone has a power play goal already in this first period. He and Carson Rakoff, the bulk of the offense for the Brampton Steelheads, and will look on their second man advantage to take the lead again.
Yeah, Jack Van Bolsen out there, been so good in the face-off dot this series for the Steelheads. Trying to win a draw, cannot. Ritchie beats him.
Callum Ritchie, who's at 56.8% in the series, has the puck shorthanded. Ritchie to the net, and a great save there. Or did it hit post on Gillespie? But Ritchie faked the shot, then went to the backhand. But Callum Ritchie's ability, stick handling to get into the middle of the ice is unbelievable. It's why the coaches poll put him as the best stick handler in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that's two insane dangles here in the first period. Neither materializes to a goal, though the first did lead to a power play that led to a goal.
That man advantage set up now for the Steelheads. Harding for Rakoff, and he fanned on it. He keeps it away from Sandu, though. Van Bolsen trying to protect the puck as well. Sandu's got him wrapped up. Danford doing his best to keep that puck tied up as well. Griffin gets hammered down, and that'll be a penalty. And you just can't do that. It's 4-on-2 in the corner, and it's Carson Rakoff who'll head off.
Yeah, right through the numbers. This is an easy call. The Steelheads have been trying to target Owen Griffin physically, knowing what he brings to the table offensively. Is a tad undersized, looking to rough him up. Hasn't been working in this playoff series as he put up 6 points in the 2 games in Brampton. And this is an undisciplined and unnecessary penalty taken by Carson Rakoff. 4-on-4 we go.
So we'll have 4-on-4 for a minute 5 with Barlow and Rakoff in the box. It'll be Powell and Cinnavori up front for Oshawa. Matthew Buckley being worked on by the trainers on the Oshawa side. It's like it might be his neck as he had delivered a hit late, just a couple sequences ago, and was slow to get back up.
Yeah, on the delayed penalty to Barlow coming down the left wing.
Here's Lucas Carmiris, drags it through, then lost the handle. Powell starts back the other way. Noah Powell, the Philadelphia prospect who left Ohio State at the trade deadline, brings it in, takes a shot. And that one just whistles wide. Powell to the point. Gibson across for D'Amato. Cinnavori goes to the front of the net. It comes to Powell. And he lost it just before he could fire. Gives it to Gibson, though. His shot on goal. Rebound came out, and Gillespie will pounce on that.
Noah Powell using his foot speed with the 4-on-4 situation. Extra ice to work with. Patience with the puck opens up avenues. And once established in the offensive zone, Andrew Gibson, already with a goal in this game, tries to find another. Leads to an offensive zone face-off, and some of the big guns come out for the Generals. Ritchie and Griffin paired up front. Morelli and Danford on the back end.
Gillespie was stellar in his relief appearance in Game 1 with a .955 per save percentage, allowing just 1 goal. He came in with the Generals having a 6-1 lead. Here's Owen Griffin looking short side, and Gillespie covers the inside corner of the post. Away comes Finn Harding. Lane heads towards the net, down the slot. Harding into the corner, trying to keep it away from D'Amato. Penalty about to expire. Barlow will step back on. Generals have a power play for 54 seconds. But they got to get control of the puck. And Harding did a pretty good job there. Now he's got to scramble back as Ritchie will carry it ahead. Ritchie, Barlow, and Griffin come across the Brampton line. Barlow to the net. Loose in front, still loose, and they bang away at it, as Gillespie couldn't get the glove down on it. At the point, Buckley gives back to Barlow. He'll set it up. Buckley fell, and Ritchie will skate it out from the corner, back to the point to Morelli. He gives to Ritchie. Down low, Griffin. He was trying to pop it to Barlow, and he'll send it around the boards for Buckley. 15 seconds left in the man advantage. Buckley, rink wide. Ritchie to Morelli. Back for Ritchie. One-timer. That one blocked by Harding. Ritchie look to center it out front to Barlow. Puck loose. Griffin trying to lift a stick. Rakoff about to step back on. Griffin got tackled down. The puck gets dumped up. Generals are saying it was sent straight out.
Deflection signaled by the official.
2:39 to go in this first period. Shots are 10-5 in favor of the Generals as they pour on the pressure late.
Good to see nobody hurt on that tangle up there. His legs are all twisted together as the two players head to the ice. Griffin and Harding. There's the Generals' claim for a straight-out delay of game, but no luck. Official says deflected offensive zone draw for the Jets.
Off the glass and out. What Witkowski was calling. Here's Sinavori. Stick lifted. Martone comes up with it. Sends it out to center. Danford. Reverse hit on Rakoff to free the puck. And then sent in by the Steelheads. Oster will play it for Zachary Sandu, who reverse it for Danford. Looked ahead to Powell. Rink wide, he finds Torrance. Sinavori trying to catch up. Torrance will shoot. Blocked by Von Richter. Here's Powell. Sinavori round the boards, looking for Torrance. Puck to the point, kept in by Sandu. Finds Sinavori. Keeps it in the zone, but Rakoff will walk away with that, then slashed off his stick back into the zone. That will make it an offside call as Powell touches it.
Yeah, Powell was hoping that it was a Steelheads player that played it back into his own zone. Not the case at all, as the reach and the deflection from Sinavori sends it back into the offensive zone. Power plays have been a story here in the first period. Each team getting a power play goal, dissected opportunities for each as well. That produced some dangerous chances. Final 2 minutes in what's been another tight first period in this series.
Still no sign of Jack Ivankovic on the Brampton bench after leaving the game in this first period, taking a skate to the mask. That puck is offside. Not sure if they can hear it at ice level. Another great crowd, over 6,000 plus. Many of them as well, too. The top prospects for the upcoming OHL priority selection in town, as the OHL will have their combine this weekend. 76 of the top prospects are in town for off-ice testing and some game action tomorrow. Jakob Fibiger, bronze medal, along with Adam Ziglicker, his teammate, World Juniors. For Team Czechia, as whistle goes, as we are known to do deep into a playoff series.
And with the OHL Combine in town this weekend, OHL Commissioner Brian Crawford is in the building as well, and Adam Dunphy will be catching up with him in the first intermission, so make sure to get your drinks quickly and get back to your seats in time for that.
We welcome all of those, by the way, across the CHL and CHL Live, the OHL YouTube page as well, as it is Friday Night Faceoff in the Ontario Hockey League, and a great one too, the 4-5 matchup between the Generals and Steelheads. We're going to get offsetting minor penalties here. Gibson and Zidlicki.
And this was the theme last night as well. 3 times either Beckett Seneca or Cal Ritchie went to the penalty box in matching minors. One was with Porter Martone, but the Generals don't want their top players taking matching minors against other players on the Steelheads, and this would be a case in point. One of the top defenders of the Oshawa Generals, Andrew Gibson, goes off matching minors with Zidlicki.
Martone and Ritchie actually leading their team in penalty minutes coming into this game.
Yeah, neither team wants that.
They both are on the ice now, 4-on-4. Misa and Martone up front. And Misa trying to turn away from Griffin. He's out there with Ritchie. And the Generals will find it. Here is Callum Ritchie. Morelli and Griffin join him on the rush 3-on-2. Morelli swept off of his stick. He's got to rush back for it, and he gave it away to Misa. Danford is back. Misa trying to turn the corner. Won't get around Danford. And Morelli will come up with it. Ahead for Griffin. Got by him. Harding back with Ritchie keeping a close eye on him. Ritchie lifts the stick, steals the puck. Trying to skate away with it, Callum Ritchie. Centered it in front. Here's a chance for Barlow, and he's stopped. Generals thought a penalty should have been called as Ritchie was dragged down. Here's Morelli for Barlow again. Tees it up, and then that's deflected wide. Up with it is Fibiger. Couldn't get it by Barlow. He chips it for Morelli. To the net, Luca Morelli, the shot, and Gillespie got enough of that. Kept it on the far side, though, by Powell. 24 seconds left in the period. Late surge by the Generals. Fibiger, though, will settle things down behind his net. Leaves it there for Connor Smith. He looks up with 15 seconds left on the clock, and Barlow keeping an eye on him. Chance for one last rush, perhaps, but he gave the puck away. Zabeski had Powell lurking. The Generals, though, will bang it out to center, and the period will end there. Porter Martone would open the scoring for the Steelheads on a power play goal. And the Generals would respond in kind on their own man advantage with Andrew Gibson. It's tied at 1 after 1. The status of Jack Ivankovic, the question mark. We'll find out more. The first intermission to come, including an interview with the OHL Commissioner and Adam Dunphy coming up. You're watching Awesome Generals Playoff Hockey on Rogers TV.
Hi, Glenn Ward here for the Knights of Columbus TV Bingo. I'm here with Mike from Stop and Shop on Wentworth. We're proud sponsors of the Oshawa Generals, and we hope you'll join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for Knights of Columbus TV Bingo on Rogers TV.
Downtown Whitby is more than just a downtown. It's a vibrant blend of historic charm and modern life. With over 300 businesses and services, you'll find everything you need. Shop, dine, and discover why downtown Whitby truly has it all.
Where's you?
We're in for something special. The best of the best. It's showtime, and away we go. We're going to drop the gloves right away.
The rivalry heated up. That was the greatest start to a hockey game ever.
It's murder in overtime. McDavid scores! Look at that! What a goal! Oh, Bennington game saver. Connor McDavid scores for Canada. Best on best, and still the best.
Hi, my name's Scott Dennis, host of the Sports Report here on Rogers TV Durham. Do you love sports? So do I, and we're talking about it anywhere from the Oshawa Generals to college, university to amateur sport. Make sure you tune in here, only on Rogers TV Durham.
One after one in Game 5 between the Steelheads and the Generals. Pleased now to be joined by the Steelheads' Mason Zabeski. Mason, your team facing elimination here tonight. What was the message from head coach James Richmond coming into tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea for us is just kind of stick with it, take it one game at a time. And it's a series for a reason. We're not going to lose on one game, so we got to take it one game at a time and try to battle our way back here.
Scary moment in that first period is your starting goaltender, Jack Ivankovic, forced out of the game. What was the reaction on the bench when you saw him leave?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough losing a goalie like that. I haven't checked up on him yet, but he's a tough kid, so I'm sure he'll be back.
You did have Braden Gillespie come in relief in this series already in Game 1. Played pretty well. Fair to say you guys are pretty confident having him in there as well?
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of having two great goalies is no matter what happens, no matter who's playing, you can always rely on who's back there.
The playoffs are where rivalries are born, and you're having a great back and forth in this series with the General starting goaltender, Jacob Oster. Not normally a goaltender getting involved in the physical play, but he certainly isn't shy. Just how much did you not expect to be getting into it with the goaltender in this series?
I expected 100%. I've been doing this for 3 years with him now, and if you're going to be that aggressive as a goalie, like, we got to find a way to get under your skin a bit and try to use it to our advantage. So I'm definitely not going to stop doing it.
Mason, thanks for your time.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Mason Zabeski of the Steelheads, 5 points for him in this series. 1-1 after one here in Game 5. After the break, we chat with the OHL Commissioner, Brian Crawford. You're watching the OHL Playoffs on Rogers TV.
Downtown Whitby is more than just a downtown. It's a vibrant blend of historic charm and modern life. With over 300 businesses and services, you'll find everything you need. Shop, dine, and discover why downtown Whitby truly has it all.
When I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, I was deteriorating in front of everybody.
All my life I lived with sickle cell. I went through a tragic crisis that put me in a coma for 3 weeks. While I was in there, I received a lot of blood to put me in a healthier state.
I was given the plasma then through IVIG. Even though that happened so long ago, it still has a massive impact on me today.
Thanks to donors, I can live another life.
Because of you, I will be seeing my grandchild.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Hi, I'm Ian Taylor, Director of Hockey Development at Ontario Minor Hockey. Today we're going to talk about speed with the puck.
The most important thing to remember is to eliminate unnecessary stick handling and underhandle the puck. This is an open ice or breakaway technique where the player pushes the puck with one hand on the stick in order to skate at full speed. The puck should be out in front of the body and off to the side. Push the puck ahead on the backhand with the bottom edge of the stick blade. The stick hand extends at the elbow and pushes the puck forward. The hands stay out of the area in front of the hips, and this allows for long, powerful strides. Underhandling is a key skill to maintain speed and allows the player to keep their eyes up and to read the play around them.
Check out more Chalk Talk episodes on Rogers TV and more drills and resources at omha.net.
Very good.
Welcome back inside the Tribute Community Center. 1-1 between the Steelheads and the Generals here in Game 5. Generals looking to close out the series here tonight. Very pleased to be joined by the Commissioner of the OHL, Brian Crawford. And Brian, you came on a good night, obviously. It's a sellout crowd here in Oshawa. But attendance, that's been a strong point for the league this season, hasn't it been?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the most attended season on record for the OHL, so a tremendous milestone to pass for us. Unbelievable support from our fans across the league. You know, right here in Oshawa, one of the leading teams for our league, to see a sellout here, in the first round 3 times here. Unbelievable, and a really great place that the league's in.
How has the transition been for you? You're following in the footsteps of David Branch, who was the OHL commissioner for decades. How have you found yourself easing into this job?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been much easing in. It's been a fast and furious start, but, David obviously left a tremendous legacy, a league that was in a great place to actually build from and go to new heights. And also, I have David accessible and around and those sorts of things. So, feel really fortunate to be able to pick up the torch from him and carry it forward.
Well, you certainly haven't had any shortage of things you've had to contend with this season. You look at the NCAA rule changes allowing players from the CHL to go play collegiate hockey south of the border. What stands out to you the most, though, about this season from your perspective?
Well, I mean, certainly, as you said, the change of the NCAA level has had the biggest kind of and most far-reaching impact on, the hockey ecosystem. A tremendous change in terms of the benefit to the players and their families, great for our league and something that will help us reach new heights. So that's really been a central kind of feature of this season. For me, traveling around the league, visiting every market and having, my first year in the league, really seeing the depth of the connection that our teams have to the communities that they're in, to our fan bases, I knew it was there, but I think it's even been more dramatic than I expected.
It's been an exciting first round so far. What are you looking forward to the most as the playoffs continue on?
Yeah, I mean, just continuing to see that energy and momentum build and continuing to see full buildings in all of our markets. That's really exciting. It's the 113th year that we're giving out the Robertson. That's really exciting. That's a pretty historic trophy. So, playoff hockey is great. Building towards the Memorial Cup, and hopefully we'll keep the Memorial Cup in Ontario this year.
Brian, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
Brian Crawford, the commissioner of the OHL. 1-1 here after 1 in Game 5. Mike and Shane have the first period highlights coming up after the break. You're watching the OHL playoffs on Rogers TV.
Saturdays, it's hockey like you've never seen before. Welcome to the NHL Hockeyverse. It's the place where real data of NHL action is transformed, literally, into animations. Combining NHL Edge puck and player tracking data with animations to show hockey like never before.
Let's go inside the helmet.
That's right. This is no video game. The NHL Hockeyverse Matchup of the Week, Saturdays at noon on Sportsnet.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen. My next guest is Christine Voss, the Executive Director of the Oak Ridges Hospice. We'll learn all about Christine and her amazing job right here on Rogers TV.
Hey you! Yeah, you! Are you looking for new and exciting recipes to make in your kitchen? What's that? You need them to be gluten-free too? Not a problem. I'm Joel Mislick, the gluten-free guy, and I'll show you how to make some great recipes right in your own kitchen. Grab your apron and let's watch some gluten-free guy right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Oshawa Generals Hockey. It's playoff hockey, Game 5 on Rogers TV. Series is 3-1 in favor of the Generals. Elimination game and tied 1 after 1. Both teams. Power play goals, staying out of the box is so important.
It definitely is, and it's something we knew coming into this series. With the high-end talent that each of these teams possesses, the power plays would be a factor, and each power play has been good throughout this series, and we see it yet again here early in game number 5. A power play goal for each team in the first period.
Let's get a look at the first period highlights and see how it was done. It was certainly the power play goal by the Mississauga Steelheads. Oh, so dangerous. Is it Martone or is it Rakoff? Which one? It's Porter Martone.
Yeah, it can go either way. I mean, both of them are amongst the best in the Ontario Hockey League on the man advantage, and we see why. That is carried over to the playoffs. Porter Martone finds the back of the net. He's been involved in 6 of the 7 power play goals for the Brampton Steelheads in these playoffs. The Generals power play would start with unit number 2, and they do a great job, so much so, in fact, that they'd hem the Steelheads in for 1 minute and 20 seconds before finally Andrew Gibson with a rocket one-timer finds the back of the net. The key here, Jack Ivankovic leaving right before this power play took place, took a skate high up into the ear/neck area. We'll keep an eye on his status moving forward if he's able to return to the bench, but Braden Gillespie comes in relief. Not an easy situation for Gillespie as he comes right into the fire on a man advantage. A dangerous power play, as we pointed out, and the Generals do capitalize. The goals in the first period, both coming on the power play, 1 for each team.
We'll say, though, Gillespie stopping 8 of 9 shots since coming in cold for Ivankovic. The Ivankovic situation is a big one, though. It looked like he may have been cut, had to go for stitches, did not make a return to the bench at all. Perhaps the intermission gives time to assess the situation and whether or not you would want to put him back in, or do you stay with Gillespie moving forward regardless of the injury?
Yeah, it's an interesting call. I mean, Gillespie looked good yet again. He stopped 21 of 22 in relief in game number 1, and yes, he gives up that goal on a power play fresh into the game. Not one you can fault him on at all, but he was good down the stretch as well. The Generals doubled up the Steelheads in shots on goal in the first period, 12-6, and Gillespie for the most part held his end of the bargain. So an interesting decision, but I think you stick with Gillespie even if Ivankovic's good to go.
Safe to say discipline a key factor the rest of the way through.
Yeah, and I'm interested in the after the whistle type scrums. We've seen a lot of matching minor type situations, specifically yesterday in game number 4 and here early in game number 5. Which players are taken, which teams could possibly get an advantage. Anytime there's a matching minor, you hope your guy going to the box takes a superstar from the other team with them. So that's an interesting theme throughout the game that we can keep an eye on.
And we were trying to watch Jacob Oster as well, what was happening in the crease, a battle with perhaps Zidlicki or one of the others, Zabeski, one of the other forwards of the Mississauga Steelheads, trying to get into his crease, get into his head, but it was the Generals who take a penalty for goaltender interference.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Sinovori drives way too deep into the blue paint. I mean, we called it out live that it took a long time for the official's arm to go in the air, which was true, but it doesn't negate the fact that it was quite clearly a penalty, and it's what we've seen Jacob Oster have to deal with so much throughout the regular season and into the playoffs. Players cruising through that blue paint, you just can't do it. And Oshawa Generals get called in the first period. Thought it was a lighter first period as far as Jacob Oster interaction. We've come to know in this series that he seems to get very involved physically with the Steelheads forwards. I think Brampton's done a great job of going hard to the net, but not getting in too deep, not getting close to a penalty.
We'll see what the second period has to offer in a moment when we come back. 1-1 the score after 1 period of play. You're watching Oshawa Generals playoff hockey on Rogers TV.
Trust me, you are not gonna want to miss this. Welcome to the little shop of spring magic, where anything is possible.
It's magical.
13 pastry prodigies will create stunning sweets. It's extreme. The baker who's got the magic touch.
This is taking me back to my childhood.
Will win it most magical title of all, Spring Baking Champion.
Now that's what I call spring magic.
Yeah, we gotta have it. We got the magic.
My name is Chase Nicholas. I am a Mi'kmaq hockey player. Growing up, I always remember my family talking about the Mi'kmaq as the creators of the game of hockey. In grade 7, I did research on Mi'kmaq hockey sticks as the first sticks of the NHL. I found a Mi'kmaq hockey stick made in 1917, the same year the NHL was formed. I was surprised to find out the very stick I was holding was made by my great-great-grandfather, Alexander Cope. In 1934, an elder known as Old Joe Cope wrote a letter to the Halifax Herald claiming the Mi'kmaq created hockey. I found out later that I am a direct descendant of Old Joe Cope. There was a time when Mi'kmaq children were torn from their families and not allowed to speak their language, losing their words and stories. But the stories are coming back to us. Stepping on the ice, I take pride knowing the roots of the game of hockey stem from my ancestors in the Mi'kmaq Nation.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Braden Gillespie is back between the pipes for the Brampton Steelheads to start this second period, and no sign yet of Jack Ivan Kovic at the Brampton bench. Players still making their way back out towards the ice, so that is becoming a developing story in this game. By the way, they do not use e-bugs at the OHL level. That is a NHL professional hockey situation.
Don't you dare hint at a Connor Crisp type situation with the Erie Otters. What was that, 12 years or so ago? Yeah, no Ivan Kovic on the bench, so that's a big story, but for a player like Braden Gillespie, this is why the Brampton Steelheads brought him in. A New Year's Day deal, brought him from Guelph for a second and a third, a veteran with over 100 OHL games of experience. So this isn't a rookie, a youngster that hasn't been in and out of this league. He knows what it's all about, and he's in the blue paint to start the second and seemingly for the rest of this game.
And he has been fantastic when called upon in this series. Just allowed one goal in game one, coming in relief. Almost half of that game. He played 36 minutes in game one.
And a friendly Oshawa fan behind the net welcoming him as well. Friendly wave and a smile and a chuckle.
And just one goal against so far in this one, a bullet on the power play by Andrew Gibson. Second period is brought to you by Downtown Whitby. The teams will start 4-on-4 for 31 seconds. Gibson and Zidlicki in the penalty boxes. Martone and Misa up front for the Steelheads. The Powell and Ritchie for the Generals. Connor Smith and Parker Von Richter, Ben Danford, Luca Morelli.
The referee at the bench talking to James Bridgman. We noticed
a long conversation.
Yeah, before we came back from commercial break, as the coaches and players first came back to the bench, James Richmond called the official over for a quick discussion and has continued on right up until puck drop. Now the official going over to Brad Malone to have a chat. So
referee Jason Feist. And this might be having something to do with the lack of a backup goaltender as well.
Right, establishing the rules and what the situation might be. Hopefully, of course, not needed. Nobody would want to see that. So quick discussion amongst the bench, and now the referees get their fist bumps in and we should be ready to go.
Well, there's about 16 prospect goaltenders who are in attendance.
Not sure that's within the rules,
Any one of them would love to grab their equipment, jump in.
I'm sure there's a meme out there with the guy laying on the bed pointing to himself. Who me? Put the popcorn down and get in the game.
Back underway, 4-on-4. Misa back for Von Richter at the point. Looks back for Luke Misa. Martone into the slot. Shot goes off the legs of Morelli. Ritchie onto it, pokes it free into the corner. Pinching on the far side is Connor Smith. Tough body to get around, and Misa looks back to Von Richter, walking in. The shot deflected. Parker Von Richter gets it right back, though. Gibson and Zidlicki come out of the penalty box. Looking out front, good block by Ritchie as he got in the way of that before he could get to Martone. Zidlicki quickly onto it. Looks back to Connor Smith. Couldn't get a good shot away. Ritchie got a tip on it. Tipped it wide of his own goal. Martone, stick lifted by Powell. Good play. Now he plays it ahead into the Brampton zone. Will allow his mates to get a change in as Powell, bodied by Martone, gives it to Ritchie. Sandu's at the point. Long shot. Easy glove save by Gillespie. As Martone and Powell were still locked up in the corner. Face-off will be in the Brampton end.
4-on-4 advantage to the Steelheads. They get some time in the Generals zone, and back to 5-on-5 play we go. Interesting to see the attrition adding up in this series, how quickly the tables can turn as far as injuries go. The Brampton Steelheads were finally seemingly getting healthy as the playoffs started. Still no Vilmer Ulrichsen, but other than that, they had iced a full squad. Now all of a sudden, no Angus McDonnell, no Spencer Sova on the back end, and Jack Ivankovic leaves as well.
Barlow a shot off to the face-off, and that one just rises over top of the goal. Gillespie may have gotten a piece. D'Amato feeds it to Buckley. Buckley, Barlow, and Griffin the line with no Beckett Seneca available tonight for the Generals. Buckley in with a good check on Sherratt, frees the puck. Lescavar in the corner. Trying to bang it by Buckley. Sherratt had it in his feet. Barlow will come up with it, send it around the boards. D'Amato pinches on the far side. Takes a bump from Rakoff as he kept it in. Carmiris will find Carson Rakoff with it. It's in his feet. He gets swept down, gave it away to Barlow. The shot and a save made by Gillespie. Carmiris looks rink wide. Raycroft steps in front of Franson and one hands the puck into the zone. Barlow's got it back at center, just frees it to open ice. And Sandu will chip it ahead. Barlow ahead for Franson. Stops, bodied by Finn Harding. Jen's in the midst of a change as Carmiris goes back behind his net. Shots are 15-6 in favor of the Generals. But we're tied at 1, each team a power play goal. Jakob Fibiger cuts to the middle, takes a shot. Oster to the save. Big rebound came out, sent to the corner by Franson. And finally, Rogowski will come up with it, skate it to center. One of the leading rookies. He's OHL playoffs, Brooks Rogowski.
Yeah, trailing just Noah Reed of the London Knights in rookie scoring in the playoffs. Tied with a few people as well.
Rogowski, puck into his feet at center. Simon Wang goes back for it. He's been fantastic in this playoff run for the Generals as well. After leaving the King Rebellion at the trade deadline. Come join the Generals. Boston University commit. Luke Torrance. Head to center. Von Richter will play it to Van Volsen, and he'll send it right back into the Oshawa end. Andrew Gibson protects the puck away from Zabeski. Lifted high out to center by Wang. Ritchie trying to settle down a bouncing puck. Will find it now across the line. Ritchie curls with it. Sends it down low for Torrance. Powell in there to free the puck. Kicks it ahead. Has Sandu pinching in. Powell turns out front and hit Ritchie with a shot. Ritchie onto it quickly. Stick handles away from McGregor Richmond. Spins with it again. Callum Ritchie still with it. Looks out. A penalty coming to the Steelheads in front. Ritchie a chance. Bangs it into the slot as it's touched up by Von Richter. Will get the call. The Gens will head to the power play. I think Luke Torrance took the brunt of the physicality in front. It'll be a slashing call against Luke Draguziga.
And this all stems from Callum Ritchie in the offensive zone. The puck possession, the ability to elude defenders. Ritchie with a couple of opportunities earlier in that shift as well. A big giveaway to Colby Barlow had a fantastic chance. Steelheads take a slashing penalty and Oshawa heads to the power play.
1 for 2 as both teams had abbreviated power plays. And the first, D'Amato goes back to Cinnavori. Cinnavori down low, finds Torrance. Powell in the slot. Cinnavori at the icing line. Walks it back to the blue line, but gave it up there, and Martone will skate back the other way with Misa. Short-handed Luke Misa. Bodied by Gibson. Misa comes up with a puck, and he'll send it all the way back down the ice. Buy some time, Gillespie out for it.
Second unit starts again for the Generals, though, with a puck all the way down the ice. The first unit standing on the bench, and a few of them have already started to come over the boards.
Start to make that change as Gibson goes back behind his net. He'll protect it. D'Amato will head off in favor of Luca Morelli.
4 of the 5, just Andrew Gibson remains, ironically, the goal scorer on the power play today for the Gens.
Buckley. Flip it in, that knocked down with a high stick. And so the Steelheads don't want to touch it. But the Generals have to try and get to it. They do. It comes free to Barlow, and he chips it over top of the goal. Buckley behind the net. Connor Smith will get to it. He'll have a lane to get it out and down the ice. He'll take his time, though, first, and he finds it to Aiden Lane. Out to play it is Oster. Head for Barlow. Across the blue line, Buckley. Controls to Morelli, then back to Buckley. Buckley protects. Cross for Ritchie. For Morelli as the Gens get set up now. Ritchie, 25 seconds left to work in the man advantage. Morelli at the point walking in. Finds Ritchie. Wants to go to Barlow. Comes back to Morelli. Fans want a shot. They get it now. Tipped in front by Griffin wide. He sends it back to the point to Morelli. For Barlow. One-timer. That one blocked. Griffin behind the net. Poked free to Barlow. 5 seconds left in the man advantage. And the point is Morelli has to take it off his skate. Hooks it back to Barlow. He'll send it down low for Griffin. Draguzica steps back on. Ritchie's got it in the corner. Trying to kick it free for Griffin. Karmiris will come up with it. Can't get it out. And now chips it ahead. Witkowski has Draguzica, who remains on. And he'll find center and send it around. Witkowski stays on the ice but overskated the puck. Morelli will lift it out to center. Gets it over the head of Sherratt. Generals stay on side, but this puck flips off of a stick and up and out of play.
Key penalty kill for the Steelheads. Second unit for the Gens started that power play and never was able to really get set up. By the time the first unit gets over the wall, half of it had ticked by, and a quick setup in the back half of the power play leads to no real quality scoring opportunities. One deflection on a point shot that trickled up and over the net. Other than that, a clean PK for the Steelheads and an important one.
Generals get their fourth line. Toms, Rogowski, and Martin. It's a mix of their third and fourth line, in fact. Haven't seen much of Anthony Figliameni in this game. He remains bench. His puck deflected up and out of play.
Well, for the Steelheads, they're rolling with 11 plus 7 here tonight due to injuries and lineup shuffles throughout their lineup.
TV timeout, the first of 2 in this second period. Still 1-1. You're watching Oscar Generals Hockey Game 5, the OHL playoffs on Rogers TV.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Knights of Columbus TV Bingo this week will be at 6 p.m. Not our usual 7, will be at 6 p.m. this Tuesday. Right here on Rogers TV for your chance to win up to $5,000.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
No Seneca, leaves a hole, but Callum Ritchie trying to fill that.
And he's looked good tonight, circling back to the first period. A couple of world-class angles. One draws a penalty that leads to a goal. Cal Ritchie has been all over the ice. Also drew a penalty just before the commercial, the TV timeout, with his offensive zone presence, his ability to protect the puck, to hold the puck in the offensive zone. It opens up so much opportunities for those around him.
Originally a first-round draft pick of the Colorado Avalanche, had his rights traded to the New York Islanders, the Brock Nelson deal, the NHL trade deadline.
Yeah, caught up with them at the Oshawa Generals Award and talked about that. Of course, always strange to be traded young in your NHL career, basically before it started, but in the long run, a lot of opportunity on Long Island for Cal Ritchie.
Tragowski and his stick broken off of that face-off. Breezes by the bench, worked by Kevin Hayes, Generals training staff, to get him a new twig. Well, he continues on. Good news is any of the other players could probably use that stick still. Just about 4 inches shorter. Here's Ethan Toms. Controls along the blue line, sends it ahead. Torrance trying to take it behind his back. Couldn't get a shot away. Steal though by Toms. He finds Torrance again. Down low is Ritchie waiting. The shot just goes wide. Rakoff onto it. Bodied by Torrance. Kept into the point by Gibson along the line. Simon Wang a shot, and that one didn't make it through. As Gillespie searched for it. Now Wang climbs the ladder. Chipped ahead, just missing Ritchie. Was Powell. He had Torrance with him as well. Would have been a quick 2-on-1 down low. There is the smooth skating Simon Wang. Ritchie steps out of the way of a hit from Harding. Following up Torrance down in the corner. Around the boards, Powell had to just hop over his stick. Gens were changing D. Powell got a piece of Zabeski, and he'll take a penalty for it. A tripping call will go against the Generals, and the Steelheads will get their turn on the man advantage.
Yeah, just a bit sloppy with the stick here as Noah Powell trying to reach out, trying to steal a puck, but instead gets his stick into the skates of the Steelheads player, and what was a defensive zone breakout all of a sudden turns to a power play and an opportunity for the Steelheads to retake the lead in this game.
So the top unit comes out. Misa, Martone, and Rakoff. Von Richter on the point.
Along with Harding.
Along with Finn Harding, their quarterback. Griffin out in the penalty killing role, loses the draw though. Von Richter.
It's Fibbiger, my mistake, Mike. We couldn't see the number. The jersey was folded over.
I was waiting between the two of us, Fibbiger and Harding.
Took an educated guess and failed.
Buckley, this is offside though across the Steelheads line. As the puck squirted off, Griffin was a stride ahead.
Yeah, I don't like the offside, but still a win for the Generals in the first 15 seconds to get a puck out of their own zone, get a neutral zone face-off, and see what they can do with a face-off win here to choose some more time off against a very dangerous top unit for the Steelheads.
Zavori and Rogowski will come out now. And here is Jakob Fibbiger. Drops it back for Misa, the Calgary Flames prospect for Parker Von Richter. He'll chip it in, chase after it himself. Danford there in the corner trying to protect the puck. He falls up the boards. It comes to Rakoff at the point. Von Richter. Misa. Martone goes to the front of the net. Misa for Von Richter. Fibbiger looks out front. Misa the shot. Oster the save. Rebound came out. Generals get it to the boards, but not out. Von Richter at the point across for Fibbiger. Walking in. Jakob Fibbiger is shot. He got it wide, and the carom will go off the corner and all the way down the ice, giving the Generals a chance to change.
Yeah, that's a killer, especially with the long change in the second period, looking to hem the PK unit in, looking to get chances towards goal. It's not even a clear, it's a missed net and puck down the ice.
50 seconds left in the man advantage. Top unit remains out for the Steelheads. Misa carries it in, gets a shot tipped off the stick of Andrew Gibson and up and out of play, and then James Richmond will change up his power play now.
Nice save by Jacob Oster a few seconds ago. Gets a tap on the pads from his D-man, and Luca Morelli as the top unit for the Steelheads goes to work. Luke Misa, quick release. Oster able to quickly get over and get out as far as he can. Wasn't quite to the edge of the blue paint, so some net to shoot at for Misa, but a nice reflex save from Oster. Oster keeps it out.
Van Volsen with Carmiris and Lane. Van Volsen sent off the dot. Carmiris will come in to take it against Griffin, and this is where the Steelheads really need to find some secondary scoring. Harding and Smith on the points. Finn Harding walking in, waits, now fires. Looking for the far side. The carom will get by Smith, though, and all the way out with 30 seconds left in the man advantage. Finn Harding, Pittsburgh's 7th round pick. Smith gave it away, though, 2-on-1 shorthanded. Torrance with Griffin. Torrance waits and couldn't sweep it across to Owen Griffin. It's broken up. Carmiris skating away. He's got Griffin's stick with him. And Ritchie will jump on in place of Owen Griffin as Van Volsen carries across the Oshawa line. Drops it off for Harding. Down low, Carmiris chipped it out front for Lane. Torrance will get to it and dives ahead to slash it out. Ritchie trying to win a foot race against Smith, and he will. Callum Ritchie to the net and hit the crossbar. Powell. In on the forecheck, penalty expired. Team's back at even strength. As Sherratt carries it ahead. Feeds it in for Van Volsen. D'Amato will get there first. Send it up the boards. Doesn't get out, and a long shot glove down off the stick of Fibbiger. for Oster to hang on to.
We talked in the first intermission about how important staying out of the box was for each team. Well, each team has had a power play here in the first half of the second period, and the PKs have prevailed. The Generals, fresh off their penalty kill, get an opportunity. Cal Ritchie with the foot speed advantage over Connor Smith, able to get around him, lift the stick, and a sharp angle shot finds the outside of the post.
Generals getting their alignment under control here. Linesman Dustin McCrank says enough. Finally drops the puck, and well, they win the draw. It's all moot anyways. Tom skates it ahead, gives to Cinevori. Back for Ethan Toms, trying to center it. It was behind Rogowski. Wang steps up, his shot off the skate. And D'Amato's got it on the far point. His long shot, and how did Gillespie see that through the crowd? He would find it, drop it, but it's underneath him anyway.
What a clean zone exit for the Oshawa Generals. Took a second to get the alignment done, but once they did, a face-off win by Brooks Rogowski, a quick one touch, and off the other way go the Oshawa Generals. Leads to a couple of pucks whipped towards goal, the last of which had all kinds of traffic to find its way through. Seemed like Gillespie caught it cleanly, but player cruising through the crease maybe bumped it out of his glove, able to get enough and hold on for a whistle. Gillespie once again being very impressive in relief here in this game, like he was in game number one.
It was good defensive coaching and just recognizing that Steelheads were putting all of their forwards to the middle of the ice. So who did they want along the boards? Not the defender. They went with Cinevori. Here's a chance for Zabeski, walking in, takes the shot, rebound came out, cleared away to the boards though by Wang, and he'll skate the puck the other way with Buckley with him. Simon Wang for Matt Buckley, gloved down by Gillespie, and he'll hang on.
I would like to see a lower shot on that type of play. Have the net dragged by Simon Wang, the big defender who jumped up into the play, was driving hard to the net. Matt Buckley decides to go high glove side, and that's just an easy snag and hold for Gillespie. Something lower off the pad might cause a rebound. Case in point, the rush here for the Brampton Steelheads. Good back check by the Generals to get back and pick up the late man. A 2-on-1 opportunity. Zabeski feels the pressure from Buckley. Also Gibson shading over. The Generals are able to go back the other way in transition.
Face-off coming outside. Gibson was arguing that the defenders didn't come in. Simon Wang was already in the corner. I think the forward might have followed him in. That's where the Generals ended up. Too many men down below the top of the circles, and face-off coming outside the dots, controlled by the Steelheads. Good step up by Sandu, though. Frees that puck, gets it across the line. Now can't get it deep. And it's behind him. Zidlicki skating away. Richmond going to the net. Zidlicki stops, looks into the slot, got through McGregor Richmond. Cinevori will find a loose puck, plays it back in his own zone. Sandu protects it for D'Amato. Cinevori has to deal with Leskovar stepping up. Rogowski trying to find it. It was behind him, though. Gave it away at the Brampton line to Finn Harding. Tipped in by Zidlicki. Richmond chasing it down. Turning with it, though, is Sandu. He'll chip the puck ahead. Here's D'Amato. Looks right up the middle, had Ritchie there, and a good stick by Harding, just got a piece of it. Ritchie coming off the bench was looking for the long lead pass.
And a good job by the D to recognize the change, the long change, and the possibility of players behind them. Both defensemen back off, and Finn Harding makes a nice play to break up the opportunity.
Torrance with a steal of center, and then his pass goes off of a skate. He'll get it right back, just waiting for his mates to clear, and Harding will take the puck away from him. Draguzika. Martone gets by Torrance, gains the Oshawa line. Sees three red jerseys collapse on him, and Powell skates back the other way. Torrance heading to the net. Noah Powell, a shot steered aside by Gillespie. And now Misa back the other way. Borelli keeping him at stick length. Knocks down Misa. Pass ahead, didn't make it to Powell. And Danford will take it back behind his own net. 21-11, the shots in favor of the Generals. 8 minutes to go in the second period. Both teams a power play goal in the first, and unable to convert on the man advantage in the second. Danford caught from behind by Zabeski. His pass for Lane just a bit too far. Barlow looking ahead. Here's Danford. Bodied in the corner by Zabeski. He comes free and into the blue ice, getting the glove down on it. Is the goaltender Oster. And he'll cover up with 7:24 here to go in his second period.
And Jacob Oster, as we've seen throughout the series, having to deal with some traffic in front. The Steelheads, as they should be, driving the net as much as they can. And Aiden Lane had an opportunity there. A pass was just out of his reach. And when you talk about Aiden Lane, a player who joined the Steelheads later in the season, a former captain of St. Andrews College, and boy, did he ever make an immediate impact after joining the team. Point per game over his last 13 games has been turning heads as far as draft rankings go, and is a player that, if finds himself in the right situation in this series, can make a difference, though has 0 points through 4 games so far.
Face off to the left of Oster. Controlled by the Steelheads. Weighing into his corner, Van Bolsen keeping an eye on him. Gibson behind his net, sends it around the board. Sinavori waits for it. Delays and then gets it to Brooks Rogowski. Wang joins the rush as well. Rogowski for Simon. Wang has shot that one blocked in front. Franson trying to find the rebound in the slot. Couldn't, and away the other way comes Fibiger. He's got Witkowski headed to the net. Jakob Fibiger, a shot steered aside by Oster. Witkowski turns with it. Behind the net, Sherratt with an arm on Wang, who got one hand on the puck to get it ahead. The Gens get it to the line, but not out. Witkowski into the corner. Gibson down on him. They bump, and Gibson will try to hang on to that puck. Fibiger in deep as well. The puck will come around the zone, and Sinavori a chance to get it ahead. Gets to Franson at the offensive blue line, a shot, and Gillespie the save. And they'll come together outside the blue ice. Franson and Reed Gee exchange some pleasantries. Faceoff coming in the Brampton end.
Van Bolsen did a nice job sealing the wall in the offensive zone, was covering for Fibiger, who was down low. Back the other way, the Generals coming. Here's a nice area pass from Lowry Sinavori. Finds Harrison Franson. No real support on that play. Look at all the white jerseys there. The Generals changing on the play, so Franson, never a bad idea. Puts a puck on goal, but Gillespie gobbles it up for the whistle.
Ritchie out with Powell and Torrance. Face-off win by Ritchie. Powell onto it. Torrance trying to get his stick free. Puck is loose. Ends up in the corner. Torrance will get to it first. Leskovar working him. Powell frees it. And he gets dropped behind the Steelheads net. It's sent back down the other way by Zabeski. And sent down hard into the corner with Sandu.
Yeah, interference on the net drive in front. Wasn't much to it.
The shot on goal is stopped. And Sandu, who's already been dealing with a lower body injury, was hit in game 68 of the regular season. And he's got a word for Zidlicki, who low-bridged him right there.
Yeah, and you see that left leg buckle. Boy, that's a bit of an unnecessary play. You hate to see that. Puck not even close to the play. Clearly interference, and Brad Malone wants a word from the official, who's waving him off.
Patrick Sexton as well.
The Gens players are staying at the bench. How you don't go have a chat?
They're saying it's clipping, as he went right at the knee.
And that's what was the penalty for Sandu against the Peterborough Petes in game number 68 for the Peterborough Petes player against Sandu that injured him in the last game. Of course, the style of play he plays, he's been in and out of the trenches for 4 games coming into this one, but you saw that knee buckle on that unnecessary low bridge hit with no puck in the vicinity.
Face-off win by the Steelheads. Connor Smith looks ahead. He finds Martone. Misa ahead. Morelli takes the puck from him. Danford finds Buckley. Griffin couldn't corral it. Now Rakoff turns back the other way in the Oshawa zone. Carson Rakoff. Centered from behind the net by Martone. And he'll get it back on the far side. Looks for Rakoff, and it hopped over his stick. And Rakoff continues a battle with Owen Griffins that's been going on throughout this series. Centered out front, Misa the shot, rebound, they score! Martone finds a loose puck. The Generals were fleeing the zone quickly. And all alone in front, Luke Misa with 2 opportunities will bury this puck.
Yeah, Misa's second of the series. There you see 2 defenders down behind the goal line. Griffin tries to block the shot. Oster makes the first save, but no chance on the rebound opportunity. A load-up line. Misa alongside Martone and Rakoff as James Richmond tries to find some offense late in a second period, and boy, does he ever find it with Luke Misa on the rebound opportunity. Steelheads back out in front, 2-1.
They confirm zone entry and all. Good goal Misa, just his second goal of the playoffs. And big for someone not named Martone or Rakoff to score, although they factor in on the scoring play. Sinavori on the forecheck. Stepping up is Simon Wang. Puck will come out to center. Rogowski's got it there. Second lead of the game for the Steelheads. With 5 minutes left in this second period, trying to stave off elimination. Force a game 6 Sunday afternoon in Brampton. Ethan Toms carrying back the other way. Toms will wait and fire. That one blocked by Leskovar. Leskovar bumped by Rogowski. Harding will play it to the near side, and Lane will get it ahead. Tom's back checking on him, sent in by the Steelheads. Oster out to play it away from McGregor Richmond. Gibson looks rink wide, makes its way out to center. Toms will leave it ahead for Ritchie. Working on Draguzica. Ritchie protects the puck, buys some time. Circling, keeping it away from 2 Steelheads. Stick handling away is Ritchie. Now he grabs Draguzica. Loose puck, gobbled up by Powell. To the point, Sandu. Cross the line, D'Amato. Sinavori now. Down behind the icing line. D'Amato's way in there. He'll get to the puck first. Protected in the corner. Walked out front. Sharp angle shot on off the side of the goal. Sherratt turns back with it. Here's Jakob Fibiger. He'll send it in and then get leveled by Sandu, who stepped up at the blue line.
Good to see Sandu's okay after that low bridge hit from Zidlicki.
Icing waved off the other way. Generals are in the midst of a change. Martone, that was close to offside. He's going to play it back to the line. It's going to go all the way back into his own end. Von Richter has Griffin bearing down on him. Sends it to the near side. Barlow beaten to the puck by Connor Smith. Freed up though. Barlow gets it from Buckley. Looking back for Matt Buckley. The pass was just behind him. Now quickly the other way comes Zebesky. Danford is back. Mason Zebesky trying to turn around the outside. In on goal. And he levels right into Oster. No call. Oster trying to get back up. He's lost his stick as Von Richter keeps the puck in. Martone out there now as well. Shot goes over top of the goal. Von Richter will keep it in. Martone behind the net. Has Zebesky in the slot. Leaves it in the corner for Connor Smith. The loose stick of Oster played further away from him now. As Carmiris for Von Richter. Parker Von Richter in deep for Connor Smith. His long shot stopped by Oster, still without a stick. Martone trying to center it. Oster got a blocker to keep that behind the icing line. Martone still with a sharp angle shot over top of the goal. And that'll go out to center. Oster will scramble for his stick as Carmiris goes back. 2:22 to go in the second period. Played ahead to the Oshawa line. Lane backhands it behind the Generals' net. Zebesky there trying to dig it free. Toms will come up with it. Crowd of 6,000 plus in Oshawa. Get the Go Gens Go chants going. But offside is the call at the Brampton line. TV timeout with 2:05 left in the second. Brampton has taken the lead again, 2-1. You're watching Oshawa Generals playoff hockey on the Friday Night Faceoff on Rogers TV.
On the next episode of Cinema Scene, Osgood Perkins has the monkey on his back. Sukyun Lee destigmatizes sex work in paying for it, and Adam Agoyan remounts Salome with 7 veils.
The Ontario Hockey League's Player Scholarship Program is not affected by any other scholarships. Entrance scholarships and athletic scholarships are available and encouraged. Many alumni have earned entrance and athletic scholarships from their respective institutions, and in all cases, these scholarships are above and beyond the earned OHL scholarship value. This is applicable at any recognized university, college, trade school, or career-enhancing program.
Welcome back to Oshawa. Luke Misa, the goal scorer in the second period. Porter Martone, the assist. Gives the Steelheads their second lead of the game and life in the series as they look to extend it to a game 6.
No load up anymore, however, as Aiden Lane now joins Rakoff and Misa on this shift.
Sent in, Gibson will take it behind his net and skate away with it. Nashville Predators prospect Andrew Gibson sends it in. Rogowski behind the icing line to dig it free. Gibson at the point, wires a shot, rebound came out off of Gillespie. and the Generals couldn't find it. Gibson has the Generals' goal, a power play marker in the first period. Misa now digging for it. Lane will come out with it. Misa in front. Rakoff scores! The sharpshooter, Carson Rakoff, doesn't need much time in the slot. Finds blocker side high on Oster. And it's a 2-goal lead.
Carson Rakoff was kept relatively quiet in game number 4. Just 2 shots on goal, -2 on the night. The previous 3 games he had scored in each and every one of them and hits the back of the net once again in this one. A board battle is won by the Steelheads. Lane gets the puck to Misa, who puts it in the high slot to Rakoff, and you're right, Mike, it's the quick release, the accuracy, and the velocity, everything that you would want with a pro-level shot Carson Rakoff has. That's why he scored 50-plus goals last season and 40-plus goals this, and gives the Steelheads the first 2-goal lead of this game.
So James Richmond splitting his lineup a little bit, trying to get offense from a couple of lines, and it works in his favor. Rakoff, even strength goal. The last time these two teams played in this building in game 2, this was the final score, 3-1 in favor of the Steelheads.
Jen's trying to make a late change, referees say no.
We've got Powell, Ritchie, and Torrance out, and that's a bad hit by D'Amato and a penalty coming against the Generals. He stepped up and took Sherratt from behind, and now with 1:05 left in the second period, the Generals are going to have to kill off a penalty.
It is a dissected penalty, however, an opportunity here for Brampton to really grab a hold of this game heading into the intermission. Luca D'Amato just mistimes this check, and from behind buries his man Sherratt. He'll head to the box, and Brampton now with a big opportunity here in game number 5 to push the lead to 4-1 before the intermission.
D'Amato unhappy, but likely with himself. That was clearly right into the numbers. Sherratt is back up and okay. That's the good news. And the big line comes out now. Misa, Martone, and Rakoff. Carmiris will take the draw. Harding at the point. Face-off 1. Misa for Harding. He walks ahead, drops it off to Rakoff. Settles the puck down across the line. Misa, he's looking for Harding, who already walked up to the blue line, but he's got it now. Harding across for Misa. Down to Martone. Porter Martone. Chipped in front, chance for Rakoff. Diving back is Oster to grab it. What a save, Jacob Oster. The Steelheads are complaining that that puck crossed the line, but Jacob Oster selling out, gets the glove on it.
Well, they will take a look at this just to be sure, but if this saves, this is a save of the year candidate. Jacob Oster sprawling out, getting a quick look in the arena. Looks to be okay, but they're going to head to the timekeeper's bench, of course, to have another look. Couple of sauce passes, a nice between the legs deflection, and right across the goal line, Oster sprawling out. Porter Martone's saying goal, as is Carmiris.
That's a tough angle from outside. To see it from the overhead will be better, but from that angle, it looks like an unbelievable save for Jacob Oster. And the reigning OHL goaltender of the year, flashing the leather.
An important review here. Big call, shouldn't take long either. They'll take one quick look at the overhead and be able to see exactly if this one is in or not. Doesn't take long on the power play for the Steelheads either. 26 seconds for them in the offensive zone. Whip the puck around and some nifty passing. Beautiful between the legs pass. Cross ice, and here's a quick call. Let's find out.
No goal.
No goal. What a save.
What a save, Jacob Oster. And you're right, Shane. Save of the year candidate. As he dives across. This will be a better look. Rakoff 16 on the near side corner is the one who's going to take this shot as it's chipped across from him, and Oster diving back to make that save. 39.2 seconds left in the period. All of it on the power play for the Steelheads. With a face-off controlled by the Generals, and Owen Griffin will send it off the glass and down the ice. Harding will skate ahead. Drops it back for Misa. The good news for the Steelheads, if they don't score, they still got a lot of time to work in the second period and can get their top unit right back on. Rakoff trying to score the power play goal before the end of the frame. Here's Misa looking for Rakoff. It comes to him and he scores! So deadly from that spot. Second of the game, second of the period for Carson Rakoff. And a power play goal with 9 seconds remaining in the frame makes it a 4-1 Steelheads lead.
Well, Jacob Oster bails his team out with a 10-bell save. Just seconds before this, the Generals can't make it to the buzzer. And once again, who else but Carson Rakoff? Luke Misa head up all the way through the seam to Rakoff, whose quick release finds the back of the net. A pair of goals here in this second period for Rakoff has pushed the lead for Brampton to 4-1. A big middle frame for the road team trying to keep their season alive.
It's an unlucky break, too. It went off of Richie's stick, through Griffin's stick, and finds Rakoff. The period will end there. But it's a flurry of late goals from the Brampton Steelheads, with 3 in the final 6 minutes of the frame. It's a 4-1 Steelheads lead after 2 periods of play. Stunned crowd at the Tribute Community Center in Oshawa will take it to the second intermission. You're watching Oshawa Generals playoff hockey on Rogers TV.
Hi, Glenn Ward here for the Knights of Columbus TV Bingo. I'm here with Mike from Stop and Shop on Wentworth. We're proud sponsors of the Oshawa Generals, and we hope you'll join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for Knights of Columbus TV Bingo on Rogers TV.
In baseball, there's nothing more important than making it home.
George Springer has tied the game.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
It's gone!
But I do it with style.
Boy, has he got some kind of power.
And a little swagger, too.
Because no matter where you happen to be,
There's only one place. Jays fans call home.
Sportsnet. Sportsnet.
Sportsnet.
Sportsnet, home of the Blue Jays.
This federal election will reshape Canada's political landscape and our country's approach to domestic and international issues. Get to know the candidates running to be your MP and represent your interests in Ottawa. Hear from your local candidates during Rogers TV's coverage of the local campaign. And on election night, Rogers TV delivers the local results. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
4-1 Steelheads after 40 minutes here in Game 5. Pleased to be joined by the Generals Owen Griffin. And Owen, 3 goals in that second period for the Steelheads. Where did things go wrong for your club?
I don't think we're playing our best right now, and we got to stay out of the box in the third to have a chance.
What do you think the message is going to be from the coaching staff in this second intermission?
I think we just got to work harder. I don't think we're working hard enough. We got to get on the forecheck and, like I said, stay out of the box in the third.
Firstly, it's been a very good series for you so far. You've already got 4 goals in it. Last season, you had 1 goal in the regular season, 1 goal in the playoffs. You had a hat trick to finish off the regular season this season, and as mentioned, 4 goals so far here in the playoffs. What's been the biggest change for you between the 2 seasons?
I think I just had a good summer, got stronger, faster, and playing with more confidence this year, and it's helped, yeah.
Thanks for your time, Owen.
Yeah, thank you.
Owen Griffin of the Oshawa Generals. It is 4-1 for the Steelheads after 2 as they try to stave off elimination here in Game 5.
Hi, Glenn Ward here for the Knights of Columbus TV Bingo. I'm here with Mike from Stop and Shop on Wentworth. We're proud sponsors of the Oshawa Generals, and we hope you'll join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for Knights of Columbus TV Bingo on Rogers TV.
Downtown Whitby is more than just a downtown. It's a vibrant blend of historic charm and modern life. With over 300 businesses and services, you'll find everything you need. Shop, dine, and discover why downtown Whitby truly has it all.
Hi, I'm Ian Taylor, Director of Hockey Development with Ontario Minor Hockey. Today we're looking at agility skating.
Edge control is crucial to developing overall skating skills. Keep the knees over the toes with feet together, with both skates on the ice. Use the inside and outside edges to slalom using tight, sharp turns, pushing through the heels. Do the same movement backwards, this time pushing through the balls of the feet. Weaving on one leg allows players to feel the inside and outside edges of their skates. Create propulsion and speed by putting weight on and off the glide leg. When weaving backward, it's necessary to place pressure more on the toe in order to maintain balance versus pushing pressure on the heel when going forward.
Check out more Chalk Talk episodes on Rogers TV and more drills and resources at omha.net.
Very good. With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Steelheads looking to play on another day and looking pretty good to do that right now as they have a 4-1 lead after 40 minutes here in Game 5 as we welcome you back inside the Tribute Community Center. It's time for Game Notes, joined by Mike Luck and Shane Hollinshead. And the first period went okay for the Generals. They got out of it with a 1. In a 1-1 tie. Second period, not so much. The Steelheads score 3 in the period. Where did things really go wrong for the Generals in period number 2?
I think a little bit of defensive zone coverage for one. They leave the slot wide open twice, and it leads to 2 goals, one by Luke Misa and another by Carson Rakoff. The Generals have done a very good job, certainly in Game 4, did a fantastic job of keeping all of the Steelhead shots to the outside, the perimeter of their zone, and with that, not getting into those high strike areas. After that, it's discipline. We've said that is a factor throughout this series. The Brampton Steelheads power play is firing right now, and it's oh so good. They're creating opportunities with good touch passes. The one from Carmiris across the slot, even though it was stopped by Jacob Oster, really should have been a goal by Carson Rakoff, and then they follow up to get Rakoff in the exact same spot just a couple of seconds later, and he'll bury it there. A couple of power play goals and then 2 slot shot goals are the difference in this game.
I think the physicality has taken a step back for the Generals in game number 5 as well. They did a good job on the road of getting in hard on the forecheck, laying the body and forcing turnovers. That's taken a bit of a step back in this game, and it's allowed for easier zone entrances, or exits I should say, for the Brampton Steelheads, which leads to easier opportunities to enter the offensive zone. Also discipline, like you said, Mike, this power play is far too dangerous. Carson Rakoff has proved time and time again that he's one of, if not the most dangerous goal scorers on a power play type situation, and he's burned the Generals in this series time and time again. So despite the Generals being bailed out by Jacob Oster on that final minute penalty kill with a huge save, the Steelheads able to work it back around to Rakoff, who fires home his second goal of the game. Being more physical and more disciplined is definitely the key for the Generals. It's a steep hole now, down 3 heading to the third.
Jack Ivankovic injured in the first period. Braden Gillespie comes in and takes over in goal for the Steelheads, and he has been perfect so far. Do you think perhaps that was a spark for the Steelhead side?
Well, certainly what I noticed after that point, the Steelheads were doing a very good job of blocking and deflecting shots away from their goaltender, clearing lanes for him to see it. And they've done a good job in periods throughout this series as well of clearing out lanes for goaltenders to see pucks behind them. Braden Gillespie, I think, has given them a boost in the sense that they're playing harder in front of him and for him, knowing that Ivan Kovic is out, and it's the last line of defense, literally. But Braden Gillespie has also been very good at just keeping pucks in front of him and stemming the tide for the Steelheads.
I don't think he's giving them the spark. I think he is the spark. He's playing better in net than Jack Ivan Kovic has this series. It was a small sample size, of course, coming in relief in game number 1, but stopped 21 of 22 in that game and looked fantastic as well. A lot of talk about whether he should be a starter in a game 4 type situation where the Steelheads didn't want to come back to Oshawa down 3-1. Unconventional way to enter this game, of course, a skate blade type of cut to Ivan Kovic's ear/neck area in the first period, but credit to Gillespie. He comes in, gives up an early goal because when he came in, it was a power play situation for the Gents, no fault of his own, but then settles down, makes a lot of big saves into the back half of the first period and in the second period as well. So I think Gillespie's been fantastic. Very small sample size in this series, of course, but the 2 times that he's been thrust into action, he's been great both times.
4-1 Steelheads after 2. Mike and Shane will have the second period highlights coming up after the break. You're watching the OHL playoffs on Rogers TV.
Where's you?
Do you like movies? You do? What a coincidence, because I host a show called Cinema Scene, which features movie reviews and interviews. It's the big screen on the small screen with Cinema Scene.
I'm Gagwege. My name means everything.
Tom Longboats.
I am Wolf Clan, Onondaga Nation. I've run many different races. I've run to survive and to be free. I've run to win for honor.
His people might be lazy, but this one's damn fast.
My people respected our runners, people who carried important messages from village to village.
I need a guide to the next post. Dispatch carrier, sir. I can get you there.
God's sakes, man, slow down. Who do you think I am, Tom Longboat?
No, sir. I am.
Running makes me feel alive. It's everything.
Tom Longboat was the first Indigenous person to win the Boston Marathon. He ran his way to international fame and became an inspiration to generations of athletes.
Hey Durham region, prepare to vote. During the election campaign, watch Rogers TV to learn more about the local candidates running to be your MP. And on April 28th, make it count and vote. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
Welcome back to Oshawa Generals Hockey on Rogers TV. 3 late goals in the second period by the Brampton Steelheads takes them to a 4-1 lead after 2 periods of play, leaving those in the Tribute Community Center here in Oshawa quite stunned, Shane.
Yeah, definitely. It was a 1-1 game all the way until about 6 minutes remaining in the second period, but there the floodgates would open for the Brampton Steelheads. They put a trio of goals on the board and skate to the second intermission up 4-1.
Let's get a look at those second period highlights, and well, it is very much a Brampton highlight reel.
Yeah, it definitely is, and good on the forecheck here by Porter Martone. Luke Misa with one opportunity to stop, but he follows it up and puts the puck to the back of the net. Oster makes the first save, but can't make the second. Misa's second of the playoffs gives the Steelheads a 2-1 lead. Here aggressive again, a board battle is won. Aiden Lane protects the puck, drops it to Misa, who centers it in the high slot area to Rakoff, and boy, does he not need much time nor much space. The quick release finds the back of the net. Fifth goal on the playoff season for Carson Rakoff, pushes the lead to 3-1, and then this would be a back-breaking goal for the Oshawa Generals. Soon after a 10-bell Save of the Year candidate from Jacob Oster, Carson Rakoff capitalizes for his second goal of the game. That one came with just 9 seconds remaining on the clock in the second period, pushes the lead to 4-1, makes it a steep hill for the Oshawa Generals to climb. But look at the big guns that have come to play, littered all over this second period scoring summary. Misa, Rakoff, Martone, up and down. down that second period scoring summary. Your best players need to be your best players in an elimination game for the Brampton Steelheads. They've been just that.
It was all Trout in that second period, and they come back to outshoot the Generals in that second frame. At one point, the shots were 12-5 in the period in favor of the Generals, but then the Steelheads would storm right back. A fantastic end to that second period. So no doubt here in the third, it's a tough and a steep hill to climb for the Generals, but the first 5 minutes will be key.
They will be, and the Generals need to find a way to match the hunger of the Brampton Steelheads. Don't forget, this is a season on the line for this Steelheads team coming into this game. Of course, they're going to have that urgency, that hunger. The Oshawa Generals need to find a way to generate that and generate it quick. Like you said, first 5 minutes will be key. The Gens need 3, but it all starts with 1.
A decade ago, the Oshawa Generals would go on to win the Memorial Cup. The head coach of that team, DJ Smith, remember telling us the fourth game is always the toughest to win. There's a lot of pride on the line, and guys do not want to have their seasons, and in many cases here, OHL careers end in this game tonight. And so with that, you've seen the pushback from the Steelheads. The Generals have to match.
Absolutely they do, and this is a team that is loaded with talent in the Brampton Steelheads. Nobody thought that this fourth win would be easy. Everybody I spoke to picked this series to go 6, maybe even 7 games. It was the most hyped up series in the first round across the Ontario Hockey League for very good reason. Neither of these teams would be an easy out, and Brampton's proving that tonight. The Gens have some work to do if they want this series over tonight.
If necessary, the series would go back down the 407 to Brampton in the CAA Center for a Sunday afternoon game as well. That would be a 2 o'clock start.
Yeah, we're spending the money pretty well on the 407
right.
there, are we? Yes, and we'll have coverage in the Rogers studio as we have for the road games. That's been a blast, by the way. Love posting up at that studio desk with you guys, getting the intermission analysis going while we watch the game on the big screen in the studio. It's been fun, but we'll see if it's needed. The Gens are hoping not.
We'll see if 20 minutes can solve it or not. 4-1, the Steelheads lead after 2. The third period is next. You're watching Oshawa Generals playoff hockey. It's the Friday Night Faceoff on Rogers TV.
It's time to get a little messy.
Thursdays, Top Chef heads north.
Welcome to Toronto. Woo!
And when the competition hits Canada,
Poutine. They're here to fight for over $500,000.
A lot of dough on the line, right?
there are no apologies allowed.
Am I missing one? Oh my God. Woo!
Sorry, not sorry.
My job's not done until I win.
Can I compete?
Top Chef, all new, Thursdays at 9 on Bravo.
When I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, I was deteriorating in front of everybody.
All my life I lived with sickle cell. I went through a tragic crisis that put me in a coma for 3 weeks. While I was in there, I received a lot of blood to put me in a healthier state.
I was given the plasma then through IVIG. Even though that happened so long ago, it still has a massive impact on me today.
Thanks to donors, I can live another life.
Because of you, I will be seeing my grandchild.
Hi, I'm Ian Taylor, Director of Hockey Development with Ontario Minor Hockey. Today we look at the saucer pass.
The saucer pass is a great skill to be used when an obstacle, such as a stick or a player, is on the ice taking away the passing lane. Let's take a look on how to master this skill. A difficult pass to master, the saucer pass requires the puck to fly through the air and then land flat on the ice. The puck starts on the heel of the blade with the face open. The puck is then rolled along the blade, spinning the puck, so it stays flat in the air when it lands on the ice.
Check out more Chalk Talk episodes on Rogers TV and more drills and resources at omha.net.
Very good. Welcome back to Oshawa. Third period about to get underway. Owen Griffin and the Oshawa Generals have a steep hill to climb, down 4-1. They have a chance to close out the Brampton Steelheads in Game 5. The Steelheads lost in the first round last year to the Sudbury Wolves in 5 games. Sudbury already knocked out of these playoffs as they were swept by the Kingston Frontenacs.
Looks like this will be a period that starts with Cal Ritchie lining up with Owen Griffin and Colby Barlow. So lines in a blender for the Oshawa Generals as well as they try to generate some offense and load up 3 of their top offensive players through this playoff so far. Owen Griffin has been simply fantastic. 6 points in the 2 games in Brampton in game 3 and 4, including a hat trick. 8 points in total in the 4 games coming into this one for the sophomore of the Generals.
This third period is brought to you by Downtown Whitby. Still no Jack Ivankovic available on the bench for the Brampton Steelheads. Braden Gillespie has been fantastic in relief. It'll be Misa versus Ritchie. 5-on-5 to start the third period, and the Steelheads control.
Oakville Junior Rangers doing duel in the dot. Misa wins it, but looked to be an icing that was waved off by the linesman.
Waved off indeed. Didn't look like it was touched. But regardless, Danford will skate it ahead. He finds Griffin, sweeps through him to Ritchie. Ritchie down low into the corner, in front for Griffin, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Martone trying to slash it by Morelli. He does. 2-on-1 the other way. Smith to lead it. And offside on the far side was Misa. Just a stride ahead and a glorious opportunity thwarted for the Steelheads.
You know what? That might even be a good whistle for Brampton, because that pass attempt hit a skate of an Oshawa Generals player and back the other way in transition. 3 of the top dogs for the Generals would have been in a 3-on-2 type situation. They didn't want it to go offside, but a little bit too much of a slant on the zone entry forces the whistle. Could have been an odd man rush the other way.
Finn Harding will take it behind his net. Control there. Off to the Minnesota prospect, Stevie Lescavar, and Ray Koff will lead it ahead. 2 goals. The Seattle second rounder. Needs the Steelheads in that category. Digs a puck free, but it'll come out to center. Harding will send it right back in. Jacob Oster out to play it. The Generals get it out to center with Laurie Sinavori to Powell. The trailer is Sandu. He jumps it across looking for Torrance. Maybe one too many passes. And 2-on-1 back the other way comes Rakoff with Carmiris. More bodies come to help. Puck to open ice though, and the Generals will start right back the other way. Sinavori through center, trying to feed ahead for D'Amato. He'll find a loose puck. Hops over his stick. And Gibson at center will send it right back in.
Twice in the first minute of the third period, you've seen odd man rush opportunities for the Steelheads. The Generals will have to pressure at the offensive blue line, but it could lead to back and forth transition play, a game the Steelheads love to play, which could help the Generals as well.
Well, part of the script for the Generals has been not to cheat for offense, according to Coach Brad Malone, but down 3-1 with time not on their side here in the third period. They're down 4-1, sorry. They will have to cheat for some offense. Toms from the point, long shot. That one off the bodies in front. Wang will keep it in. Spin it down in behind the Steelheads net. Jakob Fibiger met by Buckley. Puck is loose. Fibiger loses his stick. And he gets it right back, and the puck comes to him. Plays it for Lane. He weaves his way and gets it out to center for Zidlicki. Brampton in the midst of a change as Simon Wang goes back for it. Skates away from the check of Zidlicki. Gets to center. He'll dump it in. The Generals change up their D. Connor Smith. Nifty pass between his legs. Dangerous in his own zone. Carmiris from his own side of center, but Zidlicki gets in first and negate the icing ahead of Danford. And now Barlow. Chip and chase, gets by Von Richter. Barlow had Ritchie on the far side going to the net. Pass didn't make it to him. Carmiris turns in his own corner. Kept into the point by Morelli. Swept to open ice, and then Von Richter will send it off the boards and out. And Danford will chase back for it. Quick up to find Griffin. That leaves it at the line for Morelli. Walking in, a shot deflected wide. Barlow onto it. Sweeps it down low. Griffin knocks it out of the air. And then forced out of the zone. Von Richter trying to get his stick free and does. Breakaway for Von Richter off the goalpost. Good moves from the defender, Parker Von Richter, but couldn't bury.
Gens want a penalty on the play as the steal results from a stick under the arms of Owen Griffin.
But they do not get the call. 2 power play goals on the night, 2 for 4. The Steelheads on the man advantage. Generals 1 for 3.
Every save's a big one now from Jacob Oster. Obviously, it's the Generals who need the next goal. Great opportunity there on the breakaway.
Gens out shooting the Steelheads 24-20 overall, but are trailing 4-1. Powell, look up and see Lescavar pinching quickly on him in the neutral zone. Swept around the boards, get a break off the lane, the referee's skate. The point is Sandu. Gets by Powell. D'Amato jumps on the near side, plays it back to the line to Torrance. His long shot, tipped on goal off the skate of Sinavori. D'Amato right back onto it. Torrance at the blue line. Down for D'Amato. Looks to the slide off the stick of Harding. And it'll go around the zone, be kept in at the point though by Sandu. And Harding along the boards will chip it out to center. Sent right back in by D'Amato. Absorbs the bump from Zabeski. Is Buckley in on the forecheck. Martone finds that, and he'll flip it out to center again. Knocked down by Gibson. And Gibson will carry it back in himself. On his backhand, centers in front looking for Buckley. Martone will come up with it. Gibson chasing him down, steals the puck. Zabeski trying to finish ahead on Gibson, and Gibson returns with an elbow and a penalty coming to the Generals. Andrew Gibson. It's the retaliation that gets called. And the 6,000 referees in the building disagreeing with the call. But the Generals will head to the penalty kill again, and the red-hot Steelheads power play goes to work.
So Gibson does a great job stealing this puck from Martone. Zabeski pushes him over the wall, and then the little back elbow to the chin. Gibson tries his best to disguise it. Martone's trying to rep from the bench, but doesn't need any help through the officials. They've caught it the whole way, and the elbow is the call. Undisciplined penalty. The Generals just a bit unrattled here in this game. Frustration seems to be mounting. Lots of time left in the game, but now it needs to start with a penalty kill.
Harding from the point. He's got it back again, gives to Rakoff for Harding. Shot blocked off the stick of Torrance. Sandu looking for it, will come up the boards. They race for it, it'll come out to center, and Harding forced back. Torrance keeping an eye on him. Finn Harding absorbing the wax from behind by Torrance. Offside the call, though, at the Generals' blue line.
Carson Rakoff up to his usual tricks here tonight, and that's putting the puck in the back of the net. Scored in every single one of the first 3 games of this series, and after getting held off the score sheet in Game 4, making up for lost time with a pair, including a backbreaker with 9 seconds remaining in the second period on the power play. Chance here to complete the hat trick, which would be the 4th hat trick of the series between these two teams combined. Plenty of hat tricks around the OHL in round 1 of the playoffs.
30 seconds gone by in the man advantage. Top unit stays out for the Steelheads. Martone will carry it in. One of the top prospects for the upcoming draft. This one gets out, though, off of Misa, carried back in. So, yes, a great opportunity on the man advantage to extend the lead, but not only that, to kill off another 2 minutes of the third period. Now approaching the TV timeout. And approaching the 6-minute mark of the frame, of the Generals needing 3.
Top unit staying out, and why not for James Richmond. Don't want to take your foot off the gas at this point in the game.
Well, it's the unit that's been producing. All the players that have been scoring are on the ice. One of them, this man, Martone, chips it to Misa, who's got one in the game. Martone with 1, Misa with 1, Rakoff with 2, and they're all on now. Carmiris back to Martone. Head fake, skates to the middle, drops back for Misa. Rakoff waits just below the circle, and is where he's scored 2 already. And he's got it. Carson Rakoff turns away from Torrance. Carmiris pops out into the slot. He's all alone, and a big save there from Oster. It's good passing. Rakoff to Martone to Carmiris. Carmiris again. Back to the point to Misa. Down for Carmiris. 10 seconds left in the power play. Martone. D'Amato quickly onto him. They sweep it out front. Rogowski will find it for Oshawa. He will skate it ahead. The power play will expire as Rogowski sends a high shot off the glove of Gillespie. And Zabeski will carry it ahead. Griffin turns back the other way for Oshawa. Harding steps up at his own blue line, though, thwarts the rush. And Ritchie turns it back the other way for Danford. Got by him, Zabeski. Run into by Ritchie. Back is Sandu. Ahead off of Barlow, through center is Griffin. He's hooked by Lane, call coming, and the Generals will get a man advantage. Hooking the call against Aiden Lane with 12:28 to go in his third period.
Hello, I'm Judy Tate, host and producer of At the Heart of Business. Join me each week as we speak with women in business about their challenges and their successes. At the Heart of Business, right here on Rogers TV Durham.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to RogersTV.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at RogersTV.com.
Hi, my name's Scott Dennis, host of the Sports Report here on Rogers TV Durham. Do you love sports? So do I, and we're talking about it anywhere from the Oshawa Generals to college, university to amateur sport. Make sure you tune in here, only on Rogers TV Durham.
Callum Ritchie and the Oshawa Generals will head to the man advantage. 12:28 to go, down 3 in the third period with a chance to eliminate the Brampton Steelheads.
Too early to say a must score. Feels like it, of course, trailing by 3 in a power play approaching the halfway mark of the third.
Well, cut the lead in the half would be huge going into the final half of the period. Generals have a power play goal in the game. They have control of the puck. Morelli at the point. Down for Barlow. Griffin, Ritchie, and Buckley's got it. Remember, no Beckett Seneca in this game. Day to day. Upper body injury. Here's Barlow. Pulls back the one-timer. Morelli scores! Power play goal. Luca Morelli just 19 seconds into the man advantage, and the Generals cut the lead in half.
All starts with a clean face-off win in the offensive zone. Cal Ritchie's been so good in the dot this series. Good puck movement by the Gens. Traffic in front as well as key. Matt Buckley picks the perfect time to peel off the screen. Doesn't bail too early. Doesn't give Gillespie time to track the puck. Watch 11 red right in front of the net. Gets it to the way right at the right time. Gillespie can't pick it up in time, and the hard low shot gives the Gens some life.
So each team with a pair of power play goals. The Generals bring the life back into the building. It is 4-2 with 12 minutes to go in the third period. Puck out to center, and it went off of a glove. It's a hand pass.
It went off of a glove, then a steelhead stick.
I thought so too.
That's a bad call. With Gens in transition on a rush as well. Plenty of talk between the Generals and the linesmen. Mistakes happen. That one's blown down incorrectly.
It went off the glove just in front of the Generals bench, and then it tipped off of a steelhead stick. Surprised they can even hear the whistles right now in this building. It is rocking in Oshawa.
Yeah, the Gens need to ride the momentum, give this crowd reason to keep getting fired up, because when this building starts rocking, it can be a snowball running downhill.
Stretch play designed, but the Generals can't win the race, so it will be icing. Leskovar a step ahead of Noah Powell.
Yeah, it's a good read by Leskovar. Knows he has to turn quickly. He understands the play that the Generals are trying to make there. Quickly turns and starts skating towards the puck, because Noah Powell is fleet as foot as can be. He was off to the races as well. Great read by Leskovar to make sure the icing gets called.
So Powell will take this draw. Led the Generals at 64% for the playoffs coming in. But it's Misa who wins it clean. Zabeski around the Oshawa net. Gibson will backhand it out to center. Glove down by Torrance. Fights off the check to get it to Cinnavori, who will dump it in. Leskovar back. Torrance keeping an eye on him. Powell there as well. But the puck gets loose to Martone. Sends it out to center. Harding will gain the red line, then send it in. Danford back the other way. Powell to Torrance. Chips it by his man. Torrance out of the air looking for Cinnavori. Back is Harding. He'll send it out to center. Martone knocks it out of the air and will backhand it in. Zabeski chasing down Danford. He sends it behind the net for Morelli. Back for Danford, got by him. Fibiger from the line. Tipped behind the goal. Misa looking out front, had Lane in the slot, goes to Reed Gee at the point. Fibiger, shot from a the sidewall, and that one goes in behind the goal, and Morelli starts back the other way. The goal scorer, Luca Morelli, gains the line, but offside. And that one was a close call as well. As Morelli just lost the handle, but it looked like it went ahead.
Yeah, it looked like he lost the handle after he had crossed the blue line, and that's what the Generals are saying to the linesman. 10:45 to go, the Generals top line. Quick word at the bench here. Looked like they were heading off, but Richie, Barlow, and Griffin expect a steady dose of this trio as Brad Malone has loaded up 3 of his top weapons on the top line in the absence of Beckett Seneca.
Face-off win, the Generals control. D'Amato will ring it around the boards. Von Richter back for it, left it in the corner. Richie onto it, down for Barlow, sweeps it around the boards. D'Amato trying to protect it away and does, to the point to Griffin. His shot wide of the goal. Von Richter will get to it. Up the boards for Lane, kept it at the point by Sandu, and his shot tips off of a stick and up and out of play with 10:22 to go in this third period.
This line will stay out for the Gens, and with Cal Ritchie being so proficient in the face-off dot, not a bad play at all. Although now waiting to see the matchup game, they will make a line change after the Steelheads change some players. The Gens will change a few as well. So the top line for Oshawa heads to the bench.
Can the Generals get one more? Make this a very nervous and interesting end of the third period for the Brampton Steelheads and their fans.
That'll start to get the wheels turning on the Steelheads bench if Oshawa can pop the next one.
D'Amato will step in front of Rakoff, keeps it in the zone. Tom's out there with Rogowski and Buckley. Harding will come up with it, gets to center, takes the bump from Buckley. Oster out to play this puck, look out, almost gave it away. Coming up with it is Toms, he's got Buckley with him. 3-on-2 are the Gens as D'Amato joins the rush. Toms across, lost the puck to Harding though, right back the other way. He finds Sherratt, trying to get around Rogowski, who is back. He protects the middle of the ice. And Buckley's got along the boards. Morelli back for Buckley as the Generals get it through center. Morelli offside though. And then Leskovar comes over with a bump on Buckley after the whistle. That will draw a crowd. Offside is the call against the Jets.
Yeah, Luca Morelli just couldn't get a clean handle on this puck. Was trying to reach behind him, trying to bring it up from his skates to his stick. Just ran out of time, ran out of space, and ends up crossing the blue line before the puck follows in behind him.
Howell, Cinnavori, and Torrance the line now. Van Volsten, Zidlicki, and Lane out for the Steelheads. And the Steelheads are basically playing 6 or 7 forwards at this point.
Yeah, don't forget they started 11-7.
Powell cuts to the middle, a shot, and that one just went wide. Gibson will send it in. Gillespie to play it, drops it for Fibiger. Around the boards for Lane, he centers it. Cinnavori will keep it in. Lowry Cinnavori chips it around Lane, trying to get to it. Keeps it in front of Dragusica, and then plays it around the boards. Torrance will get to it first. Takes it into the corner. Met by a bump from Fibiger there. Torrance one-hands it as he's falling to get it loose. Van Volsten plays it into the corner. Powell will come up with it. Powell for Torrance. Drops it off for Powell. Plays it back for Luke Torrance, the king of Oshawa. Tried to center it. It's swept off his stick. And sent right back in by the Gens, glove down by Gillespie. Dragusica looks rink wide. It's over the stick of Zabeski. And Simon Wang from his own blue line. As mates changing, goes back to Gibson, who finds Griffin. Stops up on Fibiger, plays it down for Ritchie. And Ritchie protects the puck for Barlow. Couldn't send it around the boards. It comes up to Sandu, though. Trying to settle it down. Loose or bouncing, rolling puck, and it's tipped off of Martone and up out of play. That faceoff should stay in the Brampton zone. 8:15 to go in the third period. It's a 4-2 Steelheads lead.
Seeing more panic plays start to creep into the Steelheads defensive zone game, and what I mean by that is just grabbing the puck and whipping it around the boards, trying to keep it away from the middle of the ice. Problem is, if there's no white jersey there, it gives the Generals extra opportunities to keep the puck in. Seen that a few times here in the past few minutes. The Oshawa Generals extra opportunities in the offensive zone. This is a big shift here as well with the Gens top line out in the O-zone.
Ritchie with Griffin, who steps in to win the draw, but a rolling puck hops over the stick of Sandu and out to center. Danford takes a bump from Zabeski, gets it ahead. Griffin has Barlow going to the net. The pass across was still rolling. Misa in his own corner for Martone. And he'll lift it high out to center. Danford under pressure from Zabeski. Danford ran into his own man in Barlow. Misa will come up with it. But a good back check there by Owen Griffin to steal that puck. Finds Sandu. And away comes Callum Ritchie. Ritchie, chip and chase, trying to get around Von Richter, who skates into Ritchie's way. Does a good job of keeping the Generals forward off the puck. Carmiris will send it in from center, bouncing wide of the goal. Played behind the net by the Gens. Coming up with it is Ethan Toms. He finds Matt Buckley. He's got Rogowski with him. Chips it for Rogowski. His shot gloved down by Gillespie, who might have thought that puck was going low to the far side, ripped it back out of the air.
Yeah, have to respect the net drive on that type of play, but a high, hard shot. Caught Zabeski leaning just a little bit. Look at this perfectly placed pass as well. In between the stick of Rakoff, and Leskovar knows that he's got some reach to work with there with Brooks Rogowski on the right side. Put it out in front of him, let him skate into it, and that's exactly what he does. Perfectly in stride. The release from Rogowski. Nice save by Gillespie.
Face-off won by Carmiris in his own zone. Rakoff, and good passing by the Steelheads, gets it out to center, and they'll dump it right back in. Hopped over the stick of D'Amato. Rakoff, a backhand, hit the side of the goal. He'll follow up with a hit on Buckley. Puck, though, controlled by Rogowski. He lost it across his blue line, and Carmiris will feed it right back in. It's less than 7 minutes to go in the third period. Generals trailing by 2. Have found one here in the third, need a couple of more. Morelli trying to stick handle around Leskovar, and that's broken up. Gibson looks ahead, tipped in off the stick of Morelli. That's going to go up, though, and over the glass. The face-off will come back to center ice.
Yeah, they'll say exactly right at center ice. That's the closest dot the linesman says from where the pass came from. The deflection on the zone entry is what the Generals were looking for, just a bit too much under it, up and over the glass. Can feel the tension start to build in this building as well from both sides of the puck. Steelhead season on the line. Gens down 2, know they need one quick.
Gibson will send it in. Over top of the Steelheads goal. Back for it was Guy. Zidlicki trying to pin it along the boards. Dug free by Powell. Around for Simon Wang. He'll send it into the corner. Cinnavori will get to it there. Behind the net is Powell. Had a man out front in Torrance. Powell still with it. Noah Powell to the point. Gibson shot wide. Rebound off the end board. Cinnavori couldn't get a stick on it. And Fibiger will come up with it. Send it off the glass and out to center. Wang looks ahead. Powell trying to sweep it across to Cinnavori. That's too far for him. Guy goes back for it. Cinnavori on the forecheck.
Nice reverse there. Reads where all the red jerseys are. Goes back against the grain.
And he finds Fibiger, who feeds it ahead. Danford could have played it, so no icing. Sandu will play it around the zone. And Danford will get to it first. Generals crowd coming to life here. Willing the Generals to get closer as Ritchie brings this in. Drops off for Danford. Trying to settle a loose puck and gets a shot on goal. It was rising right towards the mask of Braden Gillespie. He'll hang on to it. The TV timeout. Final one of the third period with 5:27 to go. We'll be right back. You're watching Oshawa Generals Hockey on Rogers TV.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
OHL helps bring charitable programs to life. Started McFadden's movement in my 4th year with the Guelph Storm. Had a family friend die by suicide. Learned from a young age that mental health was important, and having a lot of help from the organization in the Guelph Storm has definitely shaped McFadden's movement into what it is. I'm really happy with where things have ended up.
For the Oshawa Generals with 5:27 to go, get the benefit of the TV timeout, a little extra timeout to draw up a play with an offensive zone faceoff.
Yeah, interesting to see no Luca Morelli on the ice. I mean, listen, Gibson and Danford, 2 hecko defensemen, but the offensively inclined Luca Morelli may be saving him for the following shift. when this top forward line goes off.
Barlow sweeps it back to the point, kicked ahead by Danford. Now Zabeski takes a huge hit from Danford, who steps up. And Zabeski right back to his feet. Ritchie at his own blue line. Rink wide for Danford, tipped in off of his stick. He'll get to it first in the corner. Trying to kill some time there, but the Steelheads come up with it. Connor Smith looking ahead. He finds Martone on a breakaway. Stopped by Oster. Huge save. Mark that down with 4:50 to go in the third period. Ritchie back the other way. 1-on-4. Takes a high stick. Power play coming to the Generals with 4:44 to go. Callum Ritchie, they look for blood. If it's 4 minutes, this would be huge.
Looks like 2 fingers in the air from the official there. But once again, the Ritchie dangles making things happen. This will be the second power play that the Generals have drawn off of the offensive zone entry of Cal Ritchie and just dancing his way in and around defenders. It led to a power play goal in the first period, and the Oshawa Generals certainly hope it leads to a power play goal here in the third.
What a save by Jacob Oster. Breakaway from Martone as pucks just seem to find their way through General sticks to the Steelheads one. But Martone couldn't find a way through Oster.
Second unit starts. First unit was on previous.
Here's D'Amato off the face-off win. Cinnavori, Powell, Torrance out there along with Gibson. It goes down to Torrance for Cinnavori. Back at the point is D'Amato. Gibson's got a power play goal in the game already. D'Amato to Gibson. D'Amato again. Gibson, one-timer towards the goal. Hit the crowd in front. And the Steelheads clear it to center.
Gens with all kinds of traffic on the blue paint. 2 forwards in front of Braden Gillespie.
Fed in. Powell with a good job to get to it first. Leskovar, though, will find it a second time and clear it down the ice.
First unit's starting to come over the boards for the Gens. Minute plus to work with.
Both Generals' goals have come on the man advantage, both from defensemen. They don't get a clean zone entry here, though. And they will change up their personnel. Morelli is out. Gibson's got the puck. Gives to Colby Barlow. Griffin will step on for Gibson as Buckley across the line. Leaves it for Morelli. The quarterback will set things up. He finds Ritchie. Barlow, one-timer, glove down by Gillespie. Griffin fights it back to Barlow. Morelli, extra attacker, comes on as Barlow rises a shot high. Kept into the far side by Ritchie. Empty net for the Generals, 6-on-4. Fed it back to the point to Morelli. His long shot, glove down, rebound was there, swept wide of the goal. Barlow at the point, Morelli, long shot, tipped in front by Powell, wide. Powell behind the net with Griffin for Powell. Looks out front to Ritchie. Barlow scores! 2 to go. Lots of time. The Generals, their third power play goal of the night. Crawl back to within 1. It's 4-3.
There is a discussion at the timekeeper's bench. Earlier in this power play, a puck was batted out of midair. I wonder if they're talking about looking for a high stick. Either way, we'll look at the replay for now. This might be the slowest velocity one-timer power play goal Colby Barlow scored all season long. These have been rockets to the back of the net all year. Doesn't get all of this one, takes a deflection on the way through, and eventually finds its way to the back of the net. Key discussion here now at the timekeeper's bench. Just trying to figure out what it is exactly that they may be looking for.
It went off the stick of Noah Powell in the slot. I can tell you, I did not think at the time that it was a high stick, but Braden Gillespie is the one who was trying to alert the official right away. So they may be going back to look for an earlier stoppage, or what should have been a stoppage in play because of a high stick.
We'll try to re-rack and find it if we can for everybody.
If it counts, it's a 1-goal game with 3:02 left to play. It's a Colby Barlow power play goal.
The headset's coming off as the official goes to talk to somebody upstairs.
I know they were having trouble before the game with the tablets as well. Tablets on the bench weren't working properly, but I'm not sure if the tablets for the referees were, but we do have a video replay booth, of course, and that is who referee Jason Feist is on the phone with right now. Obviously, a massive call. The Generals would still be on the power play should it not count, but for how much time?
Oh, it's for offside, okay. So earlier on the zone entry.
So they're gonna go all the way back to the zone entry, which is a heck of a rewind. And look for it. We will have to try and find it as well. So it wasn't the high stick, or potential high stick, which we thought it was, that stoppage.
There's 18 seconds remaining in the power play for the Oshawa Generals, so this is a huge play, of course, if it is offside face-off in the neutral zone. What a difference this call could make in this game. If it's a goal, this building will explode, and we are in for a heck of a 3 minutes, 2 seconds finish.
Well, they've got crazy train blasting, and crazy indeed. Just a warning to refrain from throwing stuff on the ice. Here is the zone entry.
First look, that looks clean. Guys, re-rack that if you can and slow it real down as the puck crosses the line. Here we go. Thanks very much. We're doing this live.
So right here, it would only be the skates of Buckley that you'd have to be worried about. That's looks
clean.
Good to me.
That's clean.
Now they will have other looks along the blue line as well to review, but it's tough to imagine from that, and this is where things get razor thin when it comes to the review. There was no one on the other side, and sometimes that's the issue. Was there a player on the far side that jumps ahead before Shane? But
I thought that replay we had was great. I think it shows it from a wide angle. Here's another look that we can keep an eye on the skates of Buckley.
Skate of Buckley as that puck crosses. It's again razor thin, and I can't see enough evidence to overturn it. We get the decision right now.
I think this building's going to explode.
From Jason Feist, and it's a good goal. So it's a one-goal game with 3:02 to play and utter chaos happening. James Richmond wants the explanation, but it looked pretty clear that it was not offside. Now is Richmond going to argue a potential high stick should have stopped the play? And I'm not sure if they can go back to look at that anyway.
Right, yeah.
That is a rule that can be called in the NHL.
So are we in for a 3 minute, 2 second finish here or what? And can Brampton regain their composure here and start playing some North hockey as the Generals have had them on their heels?
182 seconds of chaos coming now. Martone will send it in. Oster out to play it. When does he go to the bench for the extra attacker? Danford's got it for Oshawa. Chips it ahead to Toms. Toms, Rogowski, and Torrance are out there. Von Richter gave it away. Torrance in front. Just chipped wide by Toms. Might have hit the crossbar. Here's Torrance behind the net. Swept to the point to Danford. Looking for a lane to shoot. Danford pulls it back to Toms. His long shot off a body into the corner. Danford down there as well. Von Richter will try to pin it. Comes back to the Toms at the point. He'll go across the line. D'Amato walking in, fires. Saved by Gillespie. Another chance in front. Another save. It's loose. And they bang away. Gillespie's got it. We'll hang on. So close. The Generals come to tying.
Absolute madness. Less than a minute it takes for the Oshawa Generals to not only regain the offensive zone, but get 2 or 3 quality chances around the blue paint of Braden Gillespie. Big saves there to keep the lead. Look at all the runway here Luca D'Amato has to work with. Walks his way in. Problem for the Gents is no one's able to make their way in front, but that save is better than the first as Ben Danford gets a stick on it. sends it towards Gillespie, who's able to keep that one out.
Extra attackers on. Oster to the bench. Top unit out. Generals still have a power play to use, or sorry, a timeout to use. They get it back to the point to Morelli. Walks the line. Barlow protects away from Rakoff. Buckley down for Griffin behind the net. Harding jumps in front of that, trying to pin it. Griffin trying to dig it loose. Powell will find it to Griffin. Ritchie to the net. Blocked by Harding. The Generals get it to the line, and it comes out. Now they've got to find that loose puck, send it to open ice. Griffin will get to it first. He takes it back. Carmiris is swiping him. And Griffin will reverse. Sweeps it across to Powell, chips it in, not deep. Leskovar takes a look down the ice. This will be an icing call against the Steelheads, though. With a minute 31 to go, do the Gens use their timeout now or wait?
Or do they want to keep the tired Steelheads on the ice? They're keeping the same players on the ice. No indication of timeout so far. Looks like we'll play this out.
Well, you can go another 30, 40 seconds and then take your timeout, give your top unit a rest again. And it looks like the Steelheads are going to use their timeout.
Not a bad play.
So the Generals get a chance to draw up a play now. The Steelheads come up with their defensive assignment. 6,071 in the building to take this one in, and every last one is still here for the final seconds. If a Game 6 is forced, that would be Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Potential Game 7 Tuesday night right back in this building.
So face-off will be key here, of course. The Generals likely will have Cal Ritchie leaning in on the dot, on the draw. Possibly Misa for the Steelheads. Biggest face-off of the game coming up. Not a lot of time to work with, so the Gens, 91 seconds, clean face-off win, can get set up right away and get pucks towards goal.
Two-time Memorial Cup winner Mario Pouliot, the associate coach, draws up the play. Callum Ritchie to take the face-off. Barlow, Powell, Buckley, Griffin, and Morelli out there as well. Luke Misa on the draw for the Steelheads. Harding creeping in, so is Misa. They back him off. Then they drop it. Generals control the faceoff. Morelli from the point. Didn't get a hard shot away. Misa finds it ahead for Zabeski. Empty net to sweep at, and he shot it into the goal. Zabeski fights off the check, fights it through the neutral zone, and the backhand almost rolled wide. But a huge goal to ice this one, or restore the two-goal lead at least, 5-3.
And the Gens looked like they had that draw, but it was a winger win for the Steelheads, and some nice patience just inside the blue line to not just fire it towards the empty net. Zabeski's able to get a bit of runway to work with and does his best to get it towards goal. It wasn't a sure thing the whole way, but it found between the pipes. Jen still with some time to work with here. Let's see if Oster gets pulled again.
They gotta get the puck though. They didn't get it in deep. Harding will play it down. 70 seconds left in the third period. Jen's down by 2. Sweeping ahead for Ritchie. He'll negate the icing, gets to it first. Gillespie smartly plays it away into the corner. Oster goes to the bench. Extra attacker on again. Barlow back to the point to Danford. His shot tips off a stick and wide, with 54.9 to go in the third period.
Ritchie and Leskovar tangled up behind the net. Brad Malone keeping an eye on him to see if a timeout gets called. Mario Pouliot and he are chatting right now about what they might want to draw up. So,
well, you got to score 2, so you want to try and go with the same play you did before on this one, and then save your timeout for potentially a game-tying goal in the final 30 seconds. It looks like that's what they've decided. It's the same exact spot where they drew up the last play, same personnel. Ritchie against Misa. And Misa, well, won it cleanly, but they weren't ready for it yet, so they will do it again. Ritchie goes forward with the draw. Puck is loose, it's in the feet. Misa will find it to the point, and it gets by Morelli. Forced back, Zabeski quickly onto him. They get it out to center. Misa will find it there. Buckley got his stick in the way, though. Across the line. Ritchie couldn't drag it around. It's loose to Barlow. Fights it towards the goal. Griffin on the far side, battling against Von Richter. Into the corner, 30 seconds left. And finally comes loose for Martone, and he will shoot it right into the empty net again. So the Steelheads will force a Game 6 at home on Sunday. 6-3 over the Generals.
Got dramatic, got interesting at the end, but the Brampton Steelheads will keep their season alive. We'll go back to the CAA Center on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And an opportunity on home ice to once again avoid elimination. Generals make it interesting towards the end, but a couple of empty netters for the Steelheads late forces a Game 6.
Oshawa made it as tight as they possibly could. Getting it to within a goal with 3 minutes left. But for the second straight visit to the Tribute Community Center in Oshawa, the Brampton Steelheads will find success, and with it, they will extend their season by at least one more game.
How about Braden Gillespie once again coming in relief? Stopped 28 of 30 shots, 27 of 30 shots. At the whistle or a buzzer here, Sinavori and Gear being separated. But 27 of 30 shots in an unexpected entry into the game for Braden Gillespie. Jack Ivankovic taking a skate to the ear area very early in the first period. Gillespie was great once again coming in off the bench.
So a decision will be made, or need to be made, as to who will be the Game 6 starter if Ivankovic is available. And you said it, Shane, Braden Gillespie, fantastic in relief so far. And he picks up the victory. 6-3, the Steelheads cancel the celebration for the Generals for now. Game 6 will happen Sunday. We'll be back to wrap this one up in a moment. You're watching Awesome Generals Hockey on Rogers TV.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
You could go from here to here. Get started. Apply for the Omni Scholarship now.
Omni is home to a variety of locally produced current affairs programs and daily national newscasts, broadcast in 6 languages. To learn more about Omni scholarships, visit omnitv.ca/scholarships.
We invite you to play What's My Line?
Welcome, Mrs. Baker. Those folks over there need to guess your extraordinary occupation.
Are you an entertainer, Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Do people come to watch you perform?
Yes.
Do you travel for work?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever wear a special type of costume?
Yes.
Is your job, physical?
Yes, indeed.
Are you a member of a team?
Yes.
Are you a professional baseball player?
Yes, I am.
Created during the Second World War, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League included 68 Canadians. One of its brightest stars was my mother, Saskatchewan's Mary Bonnie Baker, a pioneer for women in sports.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen. My next guest is Christine Voss, the Executive Director of the Oak Ridges Hospital. We'll learn all about Christine and her amazing job right here on Rogers TV.
6-3, the Steelheads win Game 5 to force a Game 6. Pleased to be joined by the first star of this game, Luke Misa. He finishes with 5 points. Luke, just how happy are you right now?
Yeah, you know what? Season's on the line. That was a huge game for us, you know, being on the road like that. And, you know, we came out strong, had a really good second period, and then was able to close it out at the end, so it was a huge win for us.
You lose your starting goaltender, Jack Ivankovic, in the first period. Braden Gillespie comes in, plays really well. Did that give you guys a bit of a spark when you had to come in and sort of help defend for your goalie coming in cold?
Yeah, you know what? Like, Jack's been so good for us. He's played really good this playoffs, and, it was huge as well for Braden to step in there, being kind of cold. He hadn't played in a few games, and coming in and doing what he did, we're so happy for him, and he really stepped in well for us tonight.
The season series in the regular season between your two clubs was a pretty low-scoring affair for the most part, but there have been some wild games so far in this series, some just big offensive games. Are you surprised at all by that?
You know what, playoffs, everyone wants to win as much as they can, and, that game one, they really came out flying to start. But, there has been a lot of high-scoring games, but, it's just been a really good series so far, and we're looking forward to the next game.
Luke, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Luke Misa, the first star after a 5-point performance here in game number 5. Mike Shane, back to you.
Thank you very much, Adam. Fantastic. A goal and 4 assists for Luke Misa. And, we talked about needing secondary scoring for the Brampton Steelheads. Mason Zabeski does get an empty net goal, but for the most part, it was the horses that carried the load.
Yeah, it continues to be. I mean, the Porter Martone and Carson Rakoff and Luke Misa at times playing all together as well. It's a trio that's been producing big numbers all season long. They put up the 3 biggest point totals in single season history in the Steelheads franchise, and they've carried it over to the playoffs as well. Your best players need to be your best players in the playoffs. The Steelheads do need some more help with their secondary scoring, but for now, their top guns are getting it done.
Third period highlights, the Generals had dug themselves a significant hole, coming in 3-1 and then 4-1, and then, they would work their way back.
Yeah, they definitely made it interesting. There was some electricity in this building and great chances to tie the game, but let's first circle back to how we got there. Some good puck movement on a power play. Barlow back to Morelli. He hammers it to the back of the net. That would make it 4-2. Don't look now, but the Oshawa Generals with some life in this game. It was 4-1, almost halfway through the third. That made it 4-2, and the Generals wouldn't be done there. Another power play opportunity. This time it would be Colby Barlow in his usual one-timer spot. Doesn't get as much on this one as he usually does, but it's enough to find the back of the net. That's another look at the Luca Morelli goal. Actually, Barlow power play goal would come with 3 minutes and 2 seconds remaining on the clock, and would make this one very, very interesting. Once again, good puck movement in the offensive zone. Deflected shot finds its way to Ritchie, who plays it down low. Griffin behind the net to Powell, eventually would work its way across the top to Colby Barlow, who doesn't get a lot on this one, but enough to find the back of the net. And that is when tensions would rise. This one would be under review for some brief time for offside on the play. It would be ruled a good goal, and the Oshawa Generals would have some life. Ritchie now.
Goal coming with 3:02 left in that third period, and it was so tight with so much time left to go in the third. After that, the Generals would take, the Brampton Steelheads would take a timeout, giving the Generals a chance to think over what they want to do with that final play. It would be 2 empty net goals to round it out for Mason Zabeski. And then they say Connor Smith.
It was Martone.
It was Martone who got that final one, in fact. So 2 goals for Martone, 2 goals for Carson Rakoff. Zabeski and Misa would add goals for the Steelheads, who live to fight another day.
We have an exciting game on Sunday, and I mean, who thought that this series would be over in 5 or less? No single prediction that I saw said this game would be over in 4 or 5 games. Everybody said 6 or 7, and that's what we're getting. The Steelheads an opportunity to extend their season once again, this time on home ice, a building in which the Generals played very well, by the way, in games 3 and 4. They handled the road games very nicely the past 2 games.
Regular season was split between these two teams, 2-2, each team winning a game at home and a game on the road. So far, each team have won 2 games at home, 2 games on the road in this series. The Generals are the only team to win a game on home ice so far. Can the Steelheads do it Sunday? We'll find out. The 3 stars in this one, certainly with a Steelheads flair. Callum Ritchie would get 3rd star honors, but Carson Rakoff with a pair of goals, and Luke Misa with a goal and 4 assists would take home 1st star honors on a 5-point night to stave off elimination. As I said, Game 6 will happen on Sunday afternoon. It will be a 2 o'clock start on Sunday from the CAA Center in Brampton, and then you see it there if necessary at home. Game 7 would happen Tuesday, April the 8th at a 7 o'clock start. For Shane Hollins and Adam Dunphy and our Rogers TV crew in Durham, I'm Mike Luck saying thanks so much for watching across the Ontario Hockey League on the Friday Night Faceoff. But it's the Steelheads who live to fight another day. They will force a Game 6, a 3-2 series lead for the Gens after a 6-3 victory for the Steelheads on Rogers TV.